the Game app.
Good morning, early game crew. Exciting day because regardless of what happened on Tuesday night, this is a show here in the early game that sticks to its bits, which means this weekend, South Carolina, LSU in Baton Rouge. It's the biggest series of Monty Lee's career.
There is a chance.
We're sticking to our guns.
All we have to do is just slightly move the scale, and this plays into great to what we're going to be talking about, because initially, if they would have beat the Citadel, it would have been the biggest game of Monty Lee. It would have been the biggest series of Monty Lee's career for them having just won the series. But now I think we just got to move the needle slightly like the old scale, slightly towards the W. Just
push it a little bit.
Push it a little bit closer towards the sweep side of the scale.
The sweep side of the scale. So now it's not important just to win it.
Yeah.
Just to sweep it.
That's what happens when you lose to the Citadel.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. You have to make up for it.
Yeah, if you would have beat the Citadel, then we would have just said, hey, huge series, you win this series, you're definitely in the conversation. Now you lost to the Citadel, now you got a sweep.
There is, I guess, a level of atonement that needs to happen.
Pay penance.
You know, when you get swept in the season series by the Citadel, there is a responsibility to atone for your baseball sins. Mm-hmm. And I mean, this is a way to do it, even if, like, I know LSU 6-15 in SEC play. I know they haven't been very good. I know they were expected to be contending for the national title again after winning a national title again last year and making it 2 national championships in 3 years. It's not the same team. Paul Skeens ain't walking through that door. Caden Anderson is not walking through that door. Mm-hmm. Dylan Cruz, guess what? Guess what he's not walking through? Mm-hmm. That door. But that is still LSU on the jersey. That still means something. Now, that's not going to make me say, oh, my God, you swept the LSU. You know, Monty Lee should be your new head coach. Nothing of that. Or, oh, my God, you swept LSU. You should be in the NCAA tournament. No, I don't think that's going to be the case whatsoever. But we only have 3 weekends of South Carolina baseball left. Only 3. After this weekend, we only have 2. Unless you're able to make a little bit of a run in Hoover and you're playing on that Saturday and Sunday. I don't foresee that. But if that does not happen, then you only have 2 more weekends after this. There's only so much enthusiasm you can still have left for the college baseball season that a win would be fun. Always, you play to win the game, right? I want to channel my inner Herm Edwards here. Mm-hmm. But 2, I wanted to spice things up a little bit too, Preston Thorne, because I think I want to put something on the line here.
You say spice? Did you do that intentionally?
I did do that intentionally.
There you go.
I did do that intentionally because, look, I don't think whatever the results are from here on out is going to determine whether or not the South Carolina Gamecocks are in the NCAA tournament. I think that ship has sailed, and this isn't 2026. It's 1826, and there's no way to contact that ship to get it back. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put this on the line right now, that if the South Carolina Gamecocks...
You know everybody can hear us.
The mic is on. This red light is on.
And I am recording.
And
it will be played back.
You do understand this.
I do. But you know what? I will be a martyr for the bit.
Proceed.
Right? I need to make this more interesting than what it may be. That's the thing. I'm not just doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. I need to be able to have some type of juice in these series that are remaining. So if South Carolina does end up sweeping one of LSU on the road, Alabama at home, or Vanderbilt on the road, if they break out the bruise in any of those, I will eat a Carolina Reaper during the early game 3rd and long hour. A whole one.
That's commitment.
I know I still have them in my fridge, and I got to get rid of them. That's another thing, too. And I feel bad if I waste. I hate wasting food. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I feel guilty every single time I have to throw anything away. Just part of my DNA.
Okay.
But
nothing wrong with that.
I will consume one. A whole one. on air if they sweep any of those series.
Do we have to have a waiver for that?
Oh, no kidding.
I'm going to bring a gallon of milk.
Oh no.
I've seen hot ones. I know it works. I know
Okay,
it
I was
doesn't.
going to say, and I've also heard packets of sugar. Does that work too? Does that neutralize?
Well, I will bring it
Is that
to
a
find
base?
out. I have never been afraid to make myself a one-man living science experiment.
So, one more time for the record.
If the South Carolina Gamecocks sweep any of the remaining series on the schedule, I will eat a Carolina Reaper pepper.
Wow,
in
so
the
that's
third
beyond
hour.
this weekend. That is for the remainder of the season.
Got 3 series left, but you got to break out the brooms.
Yeah, got to break out the brooms.
We got to make it. I can't just say win any of them, right? I mean, you got to break out the brooms.
We have some
here.
standards around here.
My digestional tract is not 100% a toy here.
Okay, so just for clarification, let's say they sweep more than one series.
Oh Lord,
I know you maybe you haven't considered that,
I have not.
and the record indicates that maybe you shouldn't consider that. But
Correct.
But let's just say baseball happens.
If they,
I don't know
if they
that
sweep
do we-
two.
Do we go with another pepper, or is there something else that you would do for them? You may have just totally gutted yourself with the one Carolina Reaper.
Maybe I just have to do it twice, but not in the same show.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're good.
I think if they sweep two, I mean, then different conversations are being had at the same time about how we view this season, but also different conversations may need to be had about which institution I'm going to go into.
Do you think Monty Lee would eat a Carolina Reaper if he could guarantee him a sweep this weekend?
If it guaranteed him a sweep, he would absolutely do it.
All 22 of you on this team have to simultaneously sacrifice yourselves by eating a Carolina Reaper. You think they would do it?
They would have done it right after that Citadel game, and that way their bodies can recover by the time they go to Baton Rouge.
Okay. All right. I'm interested now.
Now, what is funny, though, just like funny aside here, my girlfriend, she has family that grows these.
Okay.
So that's how we have them, right? And they make salsa out of them, and it's really good. But it's usually blended in with, some mango and different other, fruits to kind of kill the spice a little bit.
And you got to dilute.
Yes.
Right?
And they do a really good job of that. So 2 Christmases ago, I go visit my dad in Tennessee, and he is trying the salsa. Because I brought him some of the salsa. I brought him some of the peppers. Mm-hmm. And he's trying the salsa, and he loves it. He absolutely loves it. He can't stop. And he doesn't understand how diluted it is. And then I'm getting ready to go to bed, which is on the couch. I sleep on the couch there at his house. And he has like this loft bedroom. So, I mean, you can hear his TV, everything. Right before bed, he goes, I'm going to try one of these peppers. And before I could say, oh, Dad, don't try the whole, he puts the whole thing in his mouth like it's one of those little peppers that you get in the Papa John's box. And all of a sudden I hear, oh, good Lord. And then, and that man is having a historic coughing fit. In the middle of the night, I'm waking up, it's like 2 a.m., and I'm hearing him go, just one of the more absurd things, and I couldn't stop laughing.
Okay, so it makes me think about, we had gone to Tennessee, and you know how you can go to some of the moonshine places, and then they have like pickles that are in moonshine, and they have
That's the
pineapple.
dangerous stuff.
And mother-in-law was here, and I was like, "Hey, you want some pineapple?"
Oh no! Oh no!
Give her a piece of pineapple. Are you trying to kill me? Because we didn't tell her that it was infused with anything, so that was kind of fun. So I'm thinking of your dad at the same time, like, even though that was not intentional, that he ate that, but I might have.
It is so much stronger in the fruit too.
Oh,
the moonshine is.
Yeah, it's got some potency.
I mean, I don't know what it is. There is some science behind it, but if you soak it in that moonshine for a little bit and then you eat it, buddy, dangerous game.
Yep.
For the record,
Your poor mother-in-law.
we don't need to go to Tennessee for that.
Oh, that's true. Good point.
Just for the record.
No.
Not saying I know anything, but
Yeah, but
If this was 1926, Preston Thorne might have incriminated himself.
oh no, it's 2026.
okay.
He knows a guy.
Things that are sold and branded legally
There you go.
is what we purchased.
There you go. There you
She
go.
didn't go to the hills of Tennessee, to the origins of NASCAR to acquire the bits of pineapple that she had to acquire.
Let's just say if somebody says you got that apple pie, they're not talking about dessert.
Oh, that's good stuff, though.
Let's just say that.
Or if they're talking about Mountain Dew, it's not that Mountain Dew, buddy.
That apple pie is serious.
It is. Mm-hmm. It absolutely is, and it could.
That I've heard.
So we've heard.
And
I've heard.
I've also heard that it could also clean your toilet too if you need it to.
Got rust on your tires? Take care of it.
Say less. I got something for it. It's done wonders for my intestines too. Oh, brutal. But at the end of the day, if South Carolina sweeps one of LSU, Alabama, or Vanderbilt,
All right.
I will be a martyr for the baseball cause. I will eat a Carolina Reaper for content in the early game, third and long hour.
And wash it down with some apple pie.
I may need it.
You might.
I may need it. This series is awfully important for me now, depending on what happens. But this is also big for the team. But Monty Lee's not really overplaying this by any means. Jen, do we have the cut 5 of Monty Lee talking about this series? Now, we're talking about it as biggest of his career. Monty doesn't necessarily say it.
We can do that.
We can do that, right? That's our thing, right? We can be a little hyperbolic. We can do the whole Bill Walton thing where we're a little hyperbolic about it. But if you're Monty Lee and you're this baseball team, you can't necessarily go full bore when it comes to this is incredibly important. I don't know if you saw the video. Noah Chass from ABC Columbia had a video of them walking onto like their team bus to kind of get to the plane and leave, and they're all wearing different jerseys and stuff.
Okay.
Like they're relaxed, they're loose.
Got to do that.
You have to. I don't think Monty should be in that locker room saying, "This is the biggest series of my career. Do you guys care about me? This is the biggest series of my career. I need you to go out there and do things you haven't done all season long. I need you to be able to get this sweep of LSU and make Elijah Campbell have to eat a dangerously hot pepper on air." Can't necessarily do that with his team. So I understand maybe I don't want to say downplaying, would downplaying be, I guess, the correct term?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, he doesn't necessarily we'll let you decide. Here's Monty Lee talking about maybe not overplaying the meaning of this series this weekend.
Well, I think it's important that we don't make too much of, LSU being LSU, right? I think when you build up a team, I know, look, they got great players and they're a great program. I know they haven't had the season that they anticipated having, right? And we haven't either. So it's important for us to not make too much of it. It's a road series in the SEC. They're all tough. We don't need to approach it any differently than we did when we went to Missouri, or anywhere else when you go on the road in this league. Anything can happen. And again, it's about, the team that plays the best baseball, not necessarily the best baseball team. We've got to play good baseball. Going to LSU is going to be challenging. You're going to have a great environment and crowd. All of them are going to be against us. So we need to just make sure that our focus is on executing in all phases of the game and playing good baseball. And if we play our best brand of baseball, we can compete with anybody. And it's going to be more about us and what we do than it is who we're playing. And I think that's important. You start comparing, talking about, tradition, and you're going into a really tough place to play, and you start making it more than you need to. It's more about we need to play good baseball, play our best baseball, and compete as hard as we can, and let's see what happens by the end of the weekend.
We can overplay this series. He cannot. But coming up next, we will look at the tail of the tape. We will look at see what maybe the most important factor of this series will be and we'll do that next year in the early game.
All my sports.
The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
South Carolina men's head basketball coach Lamont Paris is coming back next year, and Coach Paris has to fill out his roster, so the transfer portal will be vital to success in 2026-27.
All of this isn't about just NIL. I think there are a lot of components to putting a team together. How do pieces fit together? What does a player play? The fashion and style of ball that you would like roles are important.
And the game will dig into every player.
Even what they ate in elementary school.
On your home of everything Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game
And the Game Network.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. The spring is here. Dust, pollen, spring cleaning, all those important things. But have you even thought about the air quality inside your home? How are those air ducts holding up? Well, AAA Heating and Air is ready to help you. Visit them on the website. Call AAAtoday.com. Again, that's call AAAtoday.com. Call AAA Heating and Air and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
The 2026 Gamecock football season will be here before you know it, which means it's never too early to secure your season tickets. From the roar of the crowd, to towels waving to Sandstorm, to the flashing lights after a Carolina touchdown, there's only one place to catch a game, and that's at Williams-Brice Stadium. The experiences you'll have here can't be matched by staying home, so make your plans today to join us in our home for the 2026 season. Visit thegamecockclub.com to check out the various ticket options available for this.
If you qualify, not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money, so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000. Use code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000.
Railroad tracks and potholes are a way of life driving in Columbia, South Carolina. The last thing you want to worry about is your tires. At Wetzel's Automotive, we make it simple. From helping you choose the right set to professional installation and alignment, our team handles it all in one stop. Our wide selection of top brand tires means you'll always find the right fit for your vehicle and your budget. Fast, friendly, and right here at home. Visit us at 2017 Augusta Road in West Columbia or online at wetzelsauto.com.
Vista Roofing, your local CertainTeed Select Shingle Master. Looking for a roof that's built to last? Trust the certified experts at Vista Roofing for professional installation, top-tier materials, and peace of mind backed by industry-leading warranties. From repairs to full replacements, Vista Roofing delivers durable results and exceptional service. Call now or visit VistaRoofingINC.com to schedule your free estimate. Vista Roofing, raising the standard one shingle at a time. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
We have an accident reported Blythewood Road at Winsboro Road. Also, Monticello Road at I-20, also an accident there. Might see a couple isolated showers today. Rain coming in later tonight. And then we're looking for a high today of about 70. Tomorrow, there's going to be rounds of rain, some potentially heavy. 62 for the high, and overnight low actually 46 going into Sunday. But Sunday will give us lots of sunshine, 71 for the high, and then we start warming back up for the start of the next week. But right now, it's 61 on 107.5 The Game.
The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
So what is now the possibility of me actually having to consume one of the world's hottest peppers live on air? Well, it would take the sweet, but how does South Carolina get that sweet? What is something about this LSU team that may be exploitable? Which is why I wanted to get out the tape measure, Preston Thorne. It's time to look at the tail of the tape.
Okay.
Between South Carolina and LSU. So I look at a lot of different things. I wanted to compare where they rank, in hitting. And I wanted to also just kind of find out from a baseball perspective, how did LSU get to this point of the season? They're a little bit of a mystery, right? Again, a program like that, such the way they've been the last few years, winning 2 of the last 3 College World Series, you shouldn't be 6-15 in your league. Nonetheless, this is where we are. When it comes to hitting, they're just really average. It's a really average hitting team. How many teams are in the SEC, Preston Thorne?
16.
It's good to have in context. So remember that. They are 16 teams in the SEC. They're tied for 7th in batting average. They're 7th in home runs, 6th in total bases, 7th in slugging, 8th in on-base percentage, 9th in strikeouts.
Straight mid.
Just a total mid-off we might end up having at some point in this game. Now, unfortunately for South Carolina, you are below them in every single one of those categories, some of them which you are last.
What's interesting about that is that even though, yes, they are average as grits with no butter, salt, or any accoutrements, they are right down the middle, right? Their record is worse than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somehow their record is worse than them even being average. And I'm assuming as we go through the rest of the tail of the tape, there might be some answers as to why the record is worse than what their hitting is.
There's some freakiness in there with it, too. Now, that's LSU's hitting, and average hitting can still win you games. There are plenty of teams that just when I was going through all these that were average in a lot of hitting stats and have close to 500 records in the SEC. They have overall records that would indicate they're going to play postseason baseball still, despite maybe just being what you would consider average in your league in those certain hitting statistics that I value. But then you go over to pitching. And keep in mind, this is the school that had a first-round pitcher in Major League Baseball last year. Cade Anderson is now not only pitching in the Seattle Mariners organization, he may actually pitch for the Seattle Mariners this year. He is considered to be their top prospect.
We've seen this happen. We just saw that last year with Toronto, right? We just saw this happen. So I wonder if this is a trend.
Yeah,
keep an eye on it.
I think it might be getting some of these guys that were really good in college up to the majors faster than making them take the 3-year tour in the minors.
Because Tommy John is right behind me.
Yeah, Tommy John is right behind you, and you don't have. How much time do you want to spend that arm sitting on a bus going from Birmingham to Chattanooga? I don't know how long you want to keep that arm there.
Let's put a pin on that. I think there's something to come back to on that one.
Third long hour goes deep. I think so. That is some foreshadowing, my friends. But this is also the school that produced Paul Skeens, that has produced some of the best pitching that you have seen lineup-wise in college baseball for the last few years. But if I tell you, Preston Thorne, that they are last in the SEC in ERA. They are 13th in whip, walks, and hits per innings pitched. They are last in walks given up. You would probably be astonished. That was, to me, a little jarring in terms of how bad the pitching has been for LSU this year.
All right, so listening to the numbers, listening to the thing, this is how you develop a game plan. Because this is just me hearing numbers, knowing what we have. It's going to be very simple. We have an extremely high chase rate, which I've just learned about from Monty. Thank you.
Love that metric.
Which means that we chase the ball out of the strike zone. However, they throw a lot of balls because they like to give up a lot of walks. Something's going to have to give here. The unstoppable force versus the immovable object?
This is a stoppable force now versus movable object.
We like to swing at balls. They like to throw a lot of balls. Somebody's going to have to do something during this series.
You want to know the really weird thing, though? Just when you think you have the picture painted about what this team does, they lead the SEC in strikeouts.
Oh, no.
They've struck out 546 batters. The second closest team, Preston Thorne, is Ole Miss and Mississippi State at 515. They strike out a ton of batters, but they walk a ton of batters.
Okay.
And when someone's making contact with that ball, it's either getting out of the park or it's reaching double territory. It's reaching a gap.
Again, just trying to formulate a pitcher based on the numbers. So are they a power pitching type of team? So like when they do get in the zone, they have great stuff. They just don't know where it's going a lot of times.
That is surely the case.
Well, again, with our known weaknesses offensively, we chase the ball out of the strike zone and we strike out a lot. That's not a great sign based on that.
It makes me truly think that we might be in for a game where South Carolina scores 6 runs, maybe wins 6-5 or loses 7-6, but strikes out 25 times. Or it goes for all 27. All the outs in the game were made on strikeouts.
Well, we're going to make some voodoo magic happen.
And that is the perfect place to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Louisiana twice in my life, and I did not make a voodoo doll either time. Disappointed in myself.
What were you thinking?
Because I definitely had plans. I was like, if I have an opportunity to make a Tom Brady voodoo doll, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it.
Are there really places you can go to do that?
Oh, there's got to be.
I would think so. I just was like, ooh, maybe I should, Google that, like voodoodoll.com.
Yeah.
The only thing is don't Google it because then all of us, I didn't mean to do that.
That's true. Then I'll be served up all kinds of ads on the ad. Good point. That does scare me. I'm kind of a wimp on the online.
Yeah, or you just never know what type of voodoo's on the website.
Oh, yeah, good
I don't even know what voodoo truly means at its core. I don't know what type of powers it possesses.
Yep, I don't either.
And if it's transferable online.
Yeah, I'm not willing to take the chance. Mm-mm.
Nah.
No.
So, yeah, we strike out a lot. They strike out a lot of people. That's not a great combination.
Mm-mm.
It's a voodoo-ish combination. Hard to explain.
They throw a lot of balls. We like to chase a lot of balls. Not a great combination. No. So something's going to have to give in order for them to be successful this series.
I think this may be this out of all the series in which making contact with the ball is important, which is all of them. All of them are. I understand that, right? This may be the one where that fundamental aspect of the game is probably most paramount. Just off of that information right there. But I found that to be really interesting how one team in LSU could be so bad in everything else. There are only, 4 teams in the SEC with team ERAs north of 5. Missouri, Kentucky, and then Vanderbilt and LSU. If you want to talk about voodoo, it's been a really weird year in the SEC on the diamond this season. But coming up next, we talked a lot about the offense yesterday, but Shane also gave us a little tidbit about the defense. and I've got one question about one specific defensive unit and whether or not its depth is actually the strength of your team. We'll discuss that coming up next year in the early game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Since that win at Clemson by the Gamecocks, things haven't gone well. Let's spin back to the good old days on the Game Network.
He's been carried off this field before wearing different colors. Tonight, as a head coach of South Carolina, he wins the SEC East, and the Gamecocks are heading to Atlanta. Congratulations, Ms. D. Spur here in South Carolina.
Now that's some good feels right there. From 107.5 The Game and the Game Network.
Sponsored by Discover. When you hear a good deal, it's natural to do a double take. That's what you might do when you hear Discover will automatically double all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Start your spring cleaning with Zerorez. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $109 plus a free hallway. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just a deeper clean that lasts. Plus, now you can also take $100 off air duct cleaning and breathe cleaner air. Visit ZerorezColumbia.com.
Powered by Integrated Media.
The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass, shepherdsglass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
When I was in high school, my coach liked to say, "You don't rise to low expectations." And that's just always stuck with me. So with the help of my lottery-funded life scholarship, I was able to get a degree in secondary education. Now it's my turn to invest in my athletes, the same way my coaches did for me. Who knows? Maybe one day they'll do the same for someone else.
Better coaches means a better South Carolina. And a better South Carolina means a better you. Visit seeducationlottery.com/betteryou.
When you're looking for an attorney, you don't need to look far for legal support you can trust. I'm Dewana Looper.
And I'm Joe Weidman.
We're not just the voices you hear, we're the faces you'll see if you come in. At Atkins Law, we believe you deserve a team that listens when you're in need. We're small on purpose, local by design, and serve with compassion.
Whether you've been hurt on the job or in a car wreck, recovery comes first. We'll handle the rest.
Remember, who you hire matters, so hire a team that cares. Check us out at hollyatkinslaw.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money, so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000. Use code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Be mindful, there are 2 accidents out there to let you know about. Monticello Road at I-20. Also Blythewood Road at Winsboro Road. And saw several deer running this morning, so just kind of keep your eyes open for them. Not sure what's going on there. As far as forecast goes, yep, we are looking for just an isolated shower today. Could pop up 70 for the high. Tomorrow we'll have some rounds of rain, high of 62. Some of those rains potentially heavy. And then by the time we get to Sunday, things are clearing out. Lots of sunshine and 71 on Sunday. Monday, 78. And then we should see the 80s for a few days after that. So things to look forward to. But we do need the rain. It's 61 right now.
The Early Game. With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Yesterday, we talked at length about the South Carolina offense, and we're going to do more throughout the offseason. Mostly, we focused on that because Shane has, in this past week, talked a lot about the offense. That's the biggest question mark. But the one thing I feel like we're all pretty set on, at least having a high floor, is Clayton White's defense. But a question kind of popped up to me yesterday as to whether or not maybe this defensive line unit is the deepest part of this team, and is that depth a strength of this team? Now, Shane spoke earlier this week about the defense. This will be cut 5, Jen, from the 29th. Because we just didn't have time to get to it yesterday. I wanted to get to it today because this is Shane talking about maybe the depth, comfort, and maybe some concerns he might have for this defensive unit.
I would say very comfortable, the defensive tackle position. I think I've talked about that with you guys some in press conferences, just with, who we brought back. Gabe off last year's team, Troy Pikes, who wasn't even here last year during spring practice. He's a year older. And then Noah Clark coming in as a true freshman. All the transfer guys that we've brought in. I really like our depth that we have there. Probably more depth at the defensive tackle position than, 24 would have been the best year when you had those guys, Tonka, Boogie, TJ, DeAndre Jules, Nick Barrett, Monkel Goodwine. But I think this group has a chance to, be even deeper in regards to the number of guys you feel comfortable putting in an SEC football game. Concern, probably the secondary position in some ways, corner and safety. Gerald Kilgore was a nickel or was a safety for us and still could be, but he's working as a nickel right now, which affects the safety depth a little bit. And I like our guys there, Peyton Williams, David Busey, Currents had a really good spring, Kendall Daniels, but you've got some unproven guys there behind or after David Busey and Peyton Williams. And then maybe the corner position a little bit too. Obviously Judge Collier and Bakari Swain have played a lot of football. DeMarcus Leach came out of the spring as really our third corner. But after that, there's a lot of, Kasi Barnes and some unknowns there. So you wish you had a little bit more depth. Maybe nickel, I feel good, but corner safety will be okay. But it's just it's a little concerning right now just because you got some unproven guys there.
He did use the word concerning, but he did say that the defensive line group is one of the deepest units that he had. I want to get to that first before we get to the back end, because I think that defensive line depth actually might be the strength of this team. I'll even throw the edge rush group in there too, Preston Thorne, because I'm just going to name off the list of a few guys that might end up being considered backups for this team, right? Troy Pikes, Kelby, and Drew Collins. This is all defensive line, including edge group. Tomi Jurajai from Illinois, Caleb Herring, Julian Walker, Jordan Thomas. Those guys that do have a lot of potential, and some guys that were very productive. Like Tomey's one of those guys too that's been productive in his college career in all the places he's been. If he doesn't end up being your starter, that's a very productive backup, an older, productive veteran backup. I do think that on the defensive line group, you have enough depth there that should make you as close to maybe injury-proof as you could possibly be, unless it's a catastrophic knock-on-wood type deal.
I had to look up the numbers because I remembered it, but I wanted the numbers to back me up. Troy Pikes had 5 tackles in that Clemson game. He really flashed. I remember saying, who's 33? It's a cool number. It's a cool number for that spot. Not a great football number in general.
It's a tweener number.
But for a D tackle, I like it. And I remember him flashing against Clemson very frequently. I was like, oh, that kid is playing very, very well right now. Who's that? And I remember checking his name. So he had 5 tackles. So the last time we saw Troy, maybe if there was a continuity from his game at the end of that year going through spring, he might be somebody that pushes for a starting position just because of the way he flashed at the end of the season last year. So, yeah, I definitely think that the depth in the interior tackles, and again, I cannot discount the idea of Travion Robinson being back as the full-time coach. Jordan Dove did a great job. He got a gig at Kansas State, so obviously he did a good job. But I guess it's more of a symbol of how high I am on Travion as a coach. And I just think him being in that room full-time at full strength will benefit them greatly.
Now, that's one of those things, too, that like we talk about. We can talk all day about who's going to be starting, who's going to get in backups. Backup snaps. Really, the main thing to look at is just snap count, right? You can be considered a backup, but you can still get a very high snap count. I think Troy Pikes is one of those guys that he may not be a starter per se, but he might get starting level snaps, again, dependent on situation, what type of defense you're going for. But Troy Pikes was the South Carolina Who is that team last year?
Yeah.
Because even in the Virginia Tech game, he made a couple plays where I was like, 33.
The guy that makes you check your roster.
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh, okay, what's going on here? That's an excellent point that you bring up. And much like a 6-man in basketball, there's going to be a third or fourth defensive tackle who, let's say, if you play 60 snaps in a game, those guys may end up getting 20, 25 of those snaps, and it works best for everybody because, as I've told you all several times, when the big man gets tired, not worth a lot. So you want to keep those dudes as fresh as possible. And if you feel confident enough to be able to put a third or a fourth guy in, maybe even rotate them in waves, 2 at a time, that just is a great sign for you. So depth at the defensive tackle, I think, may be more important than any other position on the field because those guys have to be fresh when they're playing.
I want to kind of put a number on it right now. Is it should we do 35 or 40% of the team's snaps in a game to be considered starting snaps despite not being a starter?
That's a very solid number.
I'm leaning 40.
I would lean. Let's go 40%.
Yeah.
Because also the idea, if this is where it gets real dorky, but if you have a third guy, he could get snaps at either D tackle position, right? So he could be subbing in for both guys. But even better, if you have 2 dudes, and as I said, you're just a real honest platoon system where we send 2 in, send 2 out. There's a lot of ways that you could work it, but to Shane's point, you just love having the idea that you have more guys that can play.
And if Shane says that he feels like that's the deepest it's been in a while, I can certainly buy into that just by looking at the roster, looking at what they did last year, looking at the guys get brought in and what their production level is like, or maybe what even their potential level is like if there's not a large pressure for them to have starting roles right now.
I'm not saying they're going to be these guys, but we don't have to go that far back in history to see we had 3 NFL dudes playing 2 positions in 2024.
Yeah.
You had Boogie Huntley, TJ Sanders, and Tonka Hemingway playing the tackle positions, rotating, and those were 3 NFL dudes. So everybody can't start, but we all going to play, and we all can stay fresh, and we all can keep pressure on the offensive lineman.
And then if you just look at like the depth of the other 2, if you break up the defense into defensive front, linebackers, secondary, I think you're really top heavy at both of those. I don't know if there's the same depth there. Like, I look at the linebacking group, and I think you have a clear top three there with Okoronkwo, Fred J.R. Johnson, and Murphy. Three guys there that I think are solid. I don't know exactly how deep that room is. Maybe one of the bigger mysteries on this team is exactly who's going to be thrown into that rotation of guys. And then with the secondary, again, really top-heavy, but you have potential depth. My thing with the secondary isn't as much concern as like what Shane had, but I think with, Jazavian Currents, David Busey, Jalewis Solomon, Kelvin Hunter, Kendall Daniels, a lot of those guys, potential to be really good players. It's just unproven.
Yeah, and again, I think the depth for the defensive backs rooms is for injury purposes because those dudes are skinny and they can run around all day. So they're not going to get tired.
At the same time, a biggin would get tired.
Yeah, they're not the same level of that. But for to hear Shane say that it's concerning, I'm okay with that because that means that they're evaluating the position and they're seeing what's coming along. I actually don't have a problem with hearing him say that.
And then it's not so under the radar if it is a problem. Now, one writer from The Athletic thinks Georgia may be under the radar, but are they really? Ever? We'll discuss that coming up next to round out hour number 1 of the early game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Hey, this is Tyler Head from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. Times are tough, and we're here just trying to help you get folks in the door of your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports
Cade
Minute.
Cunningham saved the Pistons from being the 7th number 1 seed in NBA history to lose to an 8 seed in round number 1 in the Pistons' 116-109 victory in Game 5. It was the efficiency of Cade Cunningham that was really on display. Getting 45 on only 23 shots is incredibly impressive. If he plays like that in game number 6, this series is going the distance to 7. And a game 7 with 2 young superstars, sign me up for that one. Come that day.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number 1, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription, and I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-749-8188. 800-749-8188. 800-749-8188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at radiodirect.com/privacy. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelty can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelty?
Just send them a text.
Text DEAL to 797-979 to get started today with Zelty. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text DEAL to 797-979 for a link to your exclusive offer. Text DEAL to 797-979. That's DEAL to 797-979.
These statements and products have not been evaluated or approved by the FDA for weight loss.
The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
I hope I really didn't Mandela affect this, but does anybody else remember when Georgia had a defensive lineman after they just completely wiped TCU off the face of the earth in a national championship game? Tell a reporter, everybody thought we were going to go 7-5, or someone thought we were going 7-5. Is that person in the room with us right now?
Was that person in any room ever?
The answer is no. Absolutely not. No one's ever thought that a Kirby Smart team is going to go 7-5.
For all those who doubted us.
All negative one of you. It's negative because we made the person up. There are more fake people that have doubted us than real people. Georgia, as long as Kirby Smart is the head coach, is never going to be under the radar. But Seth Emerson on The Athletic, after Georgia's spring game, argued that this may be the year that Georgia's on nobody's mind. And this is from his article that is Georgia on nobody's mind. The dogs are under the radar, and that's a compliment. And he does at least address how silly that may sound, but he did kind of lay out some issues that might keep people from taking Georgia as a favorite to win the SEC, despite them winning the SEC title game the last two seasons. And he kind of breaks it down with, explosive passing issues, and what the wide receiving core looks like, and the pass rush, that they were actually a really bad pass rushing unit given their standards last season, and they have a lot of unproven talent at the pass rush position for this year. Given what we truly believe about football, I think this is a certified early game take here that is a one-size-fits-all approach to the importance of certain things in the game of football. The most important positions are the quarterback and the guys that get to the other team's quarterback. And if those are maybe the two issues, then maybe, Preston Thorne, should I take any type of credence that if those are if real concerns in that program, that they are under the radar?
They're only under the radar because they've been excellent for so long, and we just get bored with people that are consistently good. We take
early losses.
We take it for granted. Yeah. We take it for granted, and also Mike Bobo, man, is the polar opposite of what we're talking about as far as offense is concerned. Here, we're really excited about this new Kendall Brown offense with tempo and cool plays, maybe some gadgets here and there. That's not Bobo's thing. He's gonna run toss sweep, crack.
Boring Bobo.
He's gonna throw to the tight end, and it's gonna be brutally efficient, and it's gonna work, and it's just gonna continue to grind you down. And I think people just get bored with that. As far as that's concerned, I would say even the fan base a little bit. You've seen articles about the fan base sort of becoming more of a wine and cheese type of crowd, and just kind of just getting used to the idea like, oh, we're gonna win another 10 games this year. Sorry,
Right.
Feel bad for us.
Call us when it gets to Atlanta for the SEC championship.
So I think it's under the radar, but nobody wants to play them. I'll tell you this, I don't love the idea of playing them late in the season.
That's one of the reasons why I think bringing them up now is a little appropriate, because you will actually have them on the schedule this year.
Yeah, I'm not great with that. I don't think that's cool.
And I think that's kind of the shared sentiment. I think the shared sentiment, maybe at least amongst Gamecock fans, that I could pick up on is it's good to have the series back. Damn it, we got to play them again.
Yeah. It's awesome. There's the pageantry of playing that game every year. Again, my brother's a Georgia fan, so we get to talk trash to each other for one game a year. That's awesome. Also, quietly, neither one of us want to really play each other because there's always this thing that's happening. But I would prefer not to play Georgia, especially where they are in the placement of the season this year.
Which I think is a fair thing to say. Like, we can't say you're under the radar.
No.
By any means. You're still, at the end of the day, you're still Georgia. And I think that type of sentiment gets a little silly at a certain point, because you still have, since, the turn of the decade here, you have still won 2 national championships. You have been in the college football playoff almost every year, with the exception of the one time that you lost in, 2023 in the SEC title game for your only loss of the season, and you got punished for it by not being in a 4-team playoff. You've been at the top of the sport for a while. Now, is it starting to become a thing with their first round playoff exits?
Are you ready to say that?
Once is an accident, twice is a trend, 3 times is when it starts becoming a trait.
Okay.
If that happens again this year. Now, with the roster turnover things in college football, maybe you could just say it's a Gunnar Stockton thing.
I think that's the other part of it, too. Gunner's not necessarily very flashy as a quarterback. I think he's very good, and our opinion of him rose as the season went along last year.
I think he's better than a lot of analysts would like to give him credit for.
Absolutely. But he's pretty understated as a quarterback.
Because if you read through the article, apparently Steve Smith, former legendary wide receiver, has referred to the passing of Gunnar Stockton as, quote, dog do. I wouldn't say that. That is not my evaluation of Gunnar Stockton.
The thing about Steve Smith is all right, man, that's cool.
Oh,
I want to go back at Steve Smith.
Yeah, it's like you leave that one there. Hour number 2 is coming up next. We'll channel our inner Jim Mora and Zaza Pachulia. I'll tell you why.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Sponsored by Discover. When you hear a good deal, it's natural to do a double take. That's what you might do when you hear Discover will automatically double all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money, so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000. Use code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000.
Listing enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Springtime is a great time for a new car, and State Credit Union is a great place to finance that new car. With rates as low as 4.25% APR and up to 90 days with no payment, you can drive what you love and keep some money in your pocket. Visit State Credit Union's website for details and to find a location near you. SCSCU.com. Visit one of State Credit Union's 8 Midlands branches today. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by the NCUA. Powered by Integrated Media, the Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass for auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, the Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Earlier accidents have been cleared. Wonderful news there. And forecast-wise, could see a pop-up shower today, 70 for the high. Rain tomorrow, at times potentially heavy, 62 for the high. Then we get the sunshine on Sunday, 71 is the high we're looking for. Overnight low, though, actually Sunday into Monday, about 47. So it will certainly be jacket weather when you're going to work on Monday. But right now, 61 on 107.5 The Game.
Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game, WNKT Eastover, Columbia, a Cumulus media station. Back to sports, the early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Hour number 2 of the early game starts right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. And from now up until about mid-June, depending on how far the series go for the NBA and the Stanley Cup playoffs, we'll be channeling our inner Jim Mora, because right now, these games that have been played the last few nights have us yelling, playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me?
Kidding me?
Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
No, we're not kidding you, Jim.
What did he sound like when he was, in 6th grade, 7th grade?
Sounded like me on the first day of 7th grade when roll call is going around, and Campbell's pretty high up on the list in alphabetical order. So we get to Elijah Campbell, and I go, here. And I thought I was going to say it so confidently, and it cracked, and everybody in that room laughed. Everybody. I never forgot about it. Even the teacher laughed. Mr. Delk, I never forgot that. I have never forgotten you laughing. It delayed a roll call by at least 45 seconds, which in that moment, 45 seconds feels like 5 minutes.
I wonder if that's the same Mr. Delk that was at my school. Maybe
they're related.
Yeah, probably not the same one. But if that's the case, he was somebody who would laugh, at that kind of thing. So it might be in the name.
It could be a name thing.
Oh, my gosh.
And I felt so betrayed because his mom was my 6th grade teacher. And she is probably to this day my favorite teacher I've ever had in my life. I love Miss Delk. She was the greatest. And my first day in her son's class, my voice cracks once, and I don't forget about it.
That hurt.
Here.
But now, look where you are, and you're eating things that people should not consume.
It wouldn't be the first time I've done that on these airways.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, wouldn't be the first time.
No.
For those that don't know, Elijah has agreed. Elijah has proposed. He didn't agree because this is all his machinations.
Yeah,
so he didn't agree to this.
He's proposed.
But if the Gamecock baseball team sweeps a series out of the 3 that they have left, you will do what?
I will eat a Carolina Reaper on air.
I'll bring tissues. I'll even bring the milk.
I was getting ready to say it's needed, but they have to sweep.
They
can't win 2 or 3. They have to break out the brooms against one of those 3 teams. I'm trying to bring some extra intrigue and have at least end the season with a little bit of fun, potentially. I would like to get to a Sunday where I'm sweating it out. How about that? And then maybe that next Monday.
Then you really sweat it out.
It'll be all good. It'll be all good.
In a much more literal sense at that point in time. But right now we're talking playoffs, and none of these playoff games will require me to make a mockery of my own body for the amusement of others. But for the Atlanta Hawks last night, they did kind of become a mockery to the amusement of others because, Preston Thorne, I want to read you off a score here. And you're going to tell me if it's real or not. At halftime of last night's game in Game 6 between the Knicks and the Hawks, the Knicks led 83-36.
Only reason I know that's real is because Tyler Head sent us a text when the score was 72-22. And I was like, oh, that's not real. I was like, oh, Tyler, you're joking. Right? Because this game was that game was on during like bath time, sleep, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't watching that one. So he sends the text and I'm like,
beg your pardon? Zooms in.
What's going on?
Am I reading this correct? Are my eyes deceiving me?
And I guess, yes, that is real.
I think I stopped watching that one when it was 36-15. I was like, okay, all right, but I've seen what I need to.
This leads me to a rule proposal.
Mercy rule in the NBA?
Mercy series.
Oh.
Lose by 50, it's a wrap.
Oh.
You don't get Game 7.
You don't deserve it.
You don't get any more games. If we beat you the first game if it's Game 1 and we beat you by 50,
call it.
It's over.
You know what, though? I mean, at that stage of the game, you're a pro.
It's over.
Yeah.
Should you really be losing like that?
It's over.
TV executives need you to make this thing a little closer, too. So how about nobody lose by 50+?
Can't do that, man. That's embarrassing to say the least.
Yeah. Outscored 40-15 in the first quarter, 43-21 in the second, 34-28 in the third, and then the Hawks won the fourth quarter. Pete Carroll says, can you win a game in the fourth quarter? Yeah! Jalen Johnson hits massive three to cut the deficit to 62.
Classic.
Oh, that meme is about to be outdone.
Can you win a game in the first quarter?
No, unless you're the Knicks.
Game in the second quarter? No.
Unless you're the Knicks.
Game in the third quarter? No.
Unless you're the Knicks.
You win that game in the fourth quarter?
Oh, the Pete Carroll theory.
It's my favorite. Pete, why'd you have to go down to Raiders, man? You didn't have to do it to yourself.
You didn't have to end like this.
It hurts.
Got to get him to coach like a high school team or something.
I know. We got to finish this. We got to put a little. Listen. Hey, listen. Biopics are in the current conversation right now, and we just know you can conveniently end a biopic whenever you want to. So we're just going to end the Pete Carroll biopic right after the Super Bowl. We ain't even going to the second one. We're not even going to put the second one.
No, so you can end it, as we have learned, especially recently, you can end a biopic whenever you want on the timeline and just use the guise of they lived a long life. We're trying to cram this into 2 hours here, Max.
We don't even need to. We don't need to have anything about anything else. No Raiders, no second Super Bowl. Ended after the first Super Bowl. Legion of Boom. Let's go.
The biopic ends when you want it to end.
As we've learned.
So even if that wasn't Game 6, say the Knicks did that to the Hawks in Game 1, under the Preston Thorne rule, that would have ended the series.
Over.
Now, if you're the Boston Celtics, you wish something like that happened early in the series because the Sixers, after being down 3-1, steal one in Boston, and then last night, I wouldn't say even steal one, you're at home, win by 13 points at home, which means what, Zaza Pachulia?
Cameron, a lot of people say shock the world. I call it destiny. Zaza, talk about pulling it all in at the end there.
Nothing easy. Nothing easy. We're going to Game 7, baby. Game 7. Game 7. Hey, I wish you guys were there, but everybody knows that we got your support. We're going to feel it on Game 7. We love you. Woo!
Game 7! We get a Game 7.
Hey.
In Boston.
Listen,
between the
man.
Celtics and Sixers.
Didn't know I would become a Sixers fan. I'm rooting for the Sixers on this one. Do you have a rooting interest?
I do. I'm a Los Angeles Laker fan, buddy.
Oh, okay.
You know how funny it would be for the Celtics to lose this series and blow a 3-1 lead against a Sixers team that hasn't put it together for the last several years.
Yeah.
That is a championship window that has closed so embarrassingly fast.
It will not be a championship, but I've graduated to the other side of like, this would be really cool for Joel Embiid to get a series victory. It's not a championship. It's not the potential that they thought it would be, but it would be sort of a nice story.
It'd be a great story.
It would be a cool story.
Especially considering he's playing in this series.
Playing well.
Playing well in the series, 2 weeks from his appendectomy.
Yeah.
His appendix removed. And he comes back, and what do they do? Win 2 of the 3 games that he plays. And he had a monster game in Game 5. Game 6, he a little less, but actually did not shoot the ball well at all. I do remember he was missing a lot of shots. But 19 points, 10 rebounds, but 8 assists and only 1 turnover. So we're getting a Game 7 there. And this is, again, a Celtics team that won 11 more games in the regular season than the Sixers. Honest to God, I thought the Celtics were the favorite to win the East, and it shouldn't be close. That it's the Celtics, then kind of everybody else. And the Pistons kind of proved that correct, but then the Knicks said, hey, watch us take a blowtorch to Atlanta for the final 3 games of the series to prove that we're not playing around.
Elijah, we've tried to avoid it. We've tried to talk about everything else, but we would not be honest nor fair unless we did this, so let's do it.
The Timberwolves, despite not having Anthony Edwards, despite not having Ayo Dosunmu, who scored 43 points in the game just the other night, came out with a starting lineup of Mike Conley, who's 1,000 years old.
Still in the game?
Still in it.
Okay.
Terrence Shannon Jr.
Never heard of him.
Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert take down Denver in Game 6 and knock the Denver Nuggets out of the playoffs. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Despite Nikola Jokic going 28, 9, and 10.
Of course he did.
It did not matter. And for some reason, buddy, you guys lose this series against a team that is down 3 of their best players, including the best player on the team. Come on.
Can't do it.
Pathetic.
That's unfortunate. I believe maybe no one enjoyed that more than maybe one Michael Malone up in Chapel Hill. Just,
Maybe the biggest victory he has as the coach of the University of North Carolina is watching Denver get bounced by Minnesota in the first round without 3 main contributors.
Yeah, you just watch this and you just go,
Interesting.
Things that make you go,
Yeah, I'm sure he sent a few choice texts to close friends like, you see the game? So.
He just sends like the gif of Megan from the show Drake and Josh going like sitting in front of the computer going, interesting.
That's it. Just interesting.
Also, if you've ever watched a Nuggets game and you've seen their coach David Adelman, wonder how he got his start in the league.
Yeah.
And you look at his appearance and tell me if there's a famous kids book character that he looks like. That also shares the first name. If you ever seen the children's book, was Oh No David?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
The drawing of that kid is David Adelman. They look identical.
That's unfortunate.
Identical. Yeah. Very unfortunate for David Adelman. But in hockey, in the Stanley Cup playoffs last night, also had some interesting things. Now, no Game 7 for Wild and Stars. You don't have to summon Zaza Pachulia for that one because the Wild took down the Stars 5-2. That was a series I thought was maybe the most evenly matched of all the playoff series in both leagues, that in Montreal, Tampa Bay. My theory is the winner of that series was going to win the Stanley Cup. I know the Colorado Avalanche are a wagon, best team in the league by a mile, but hockey's one of those sports that the team that's the best team in the regular season rarely wins it. So I originally picked the Stars to win the series, which means the Stars were my Stanley Cup pick. I will pivot now to the Minnesota Wild.
You said rarely, but statistically, it's been how long? It's been a very long time since they've actually won it.
I think the only team that's done that is the Colorado Avalanche in recent memory.
Years ago.
I think that one was maybe like 4 years ago.
Okay.
It was in this decade, but it does not it rarely happens. And it went through a streak where I think it was like 20 plus years.
Gotcha.
It was a very long time. But there was a game last night that happened while we were all sleeping that gets to hammer home my take. One of my favorite ones. Connor McDavid, greatest loser in the history of sports because they got bounced by the Anaheim Ducks, who barely made it into the playoffs. Barely. The Oilers have the most loaded offensive unit in the sport, and Connor McDavid's the best player in the sport and will be every year until he retires. He might go down as the best player of the modern era by the time it's all said and done. But his teams always find a way to either lose in the cup final in heartbreaking fashion or urinate on themselves early enough to where it doesn't matter by the time we get to May. And that happened last night with a 5-2 loss to the Anaheim Ducks.
Bigger disappointment, Jokic or Connor McDavid?
Oh, that's good.
Sports talk.
So, who's the bigger loser?
Here on First Take.
Nikola Jokic or Connor McDavid? Who's the bigger loser in this series? I'll go Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
And I think, part of that might be compounded with the fact that he had that loaded Canadian hockey team and they did not win the Olympics. He's not won an Olympic gold medal either. He has never won an Olympic gold medal or a Stanley Cup championship. And he is going to be considered the greatest player of his generation.
The thing that saves Jokic is he does have a championship.
He's got one. Yeah.
And that kind of keeps the wolves at bay.
Yes. It keeps it to, well, there's a but. There is no but for Connor McDavid. Again, that guy is the best player in his sport. He'll be considered the best player of his entire generation in his sport. Greatest loser. Jerry West ultimately got one to kind of keep him from ever getting that title. Connor McDavid's going to give Jerry West a run for his money. A true run for his money. But coming up next, it's the early game morning meeting. We talked about college football news as win projection for South Carolina, but can Preston Thorne correctly guess the projected win totals for the other teams in the SEC? We'll give Preston a little bit of a quiz coming up next year in the early game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network, Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Here at the Game, we're expanding our local lineup. Starting on Monday, May 11th at 6 p.m., we debut Connecting Carolinas with Scott Hamilton. Presented by FanStream Sports. From 6 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, right here on The Game. You could also ask Scott if he can still do that backflip on ice skates.
Most of us can't imagine watching figure skating without Scott Hamilton being a part of it.
What's that? Oh, it's not that Scott Hamilton. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Now, I'm going to be quizzing Preston Thorne later, but if I was to ask Preston Thorne the question of who to call if you are experiencing some personal income or business tax issues, there's only one correct answer to that, and that is the Ecton Law Firm. And Preston sits next to me when I do this all the time, so he already knows, right? It'd be the easiest question I ask him all day. But if you call 803-771-9800, you'll find out for yourself why the Ecton Law Firm has been doing this for so long, why they have been helping people resolve their income or business tax issues for good here in the state of South Carolina, why they have all of these proven local solutions to these very complex problems. It may feel like it's hard to get out of. That's why we refer to it as the IRS maze, because sometimes it feels like a labyrinth you can't escape. But if you call 803-771-9800, you can set up that free consultation to talk to John Ecton and his team, or you can always go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTONLawFirm.com. Start your spring cleaning with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $109 plus a free hallway. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just a deeper clean that lasts. Plus, now you can also take $100 off air duct cleaning and breathe cleaner air. Visit ZeroResColumbia.com.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Columbia, make this spring the time you stop painting year after year and do what Greg did. He called Rhino Shield.
We live in a beautiful 2-story home that was built in 1916. Really been prepped and painted very, very poorly.
And Rhino Shield? It's not paint, it's better.
We really had a lot of detail work, and the team at Rhino Shield, they spent really a full 4 days just on the prep work, and we were so excited to see that.
Stop painting year after year and get Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
We've gotten numerous compliments, and we've actually even had some of the longer-term residents of our community thank us for protecting the integrity of our home.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer is limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com. Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Springtime is a great time for a new car, and State Credit Union is a great place to finance that new car. With rates as low as 4.25% APR and up to 90 days with no payment, you can drive what you love and keep some money in your pocket. Visit State Credit Union's website for details and to find a location near you, scscu.com. Visit one of State Credit Union's 8 Midlands branches today. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender, federally insured by the NCUA. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Road near Fairview Road. There is an accident there. We are getting reports of heavy traffic Garners Ferry Road westbound between Lower Richland Boulevard and I-77. Maybe a pop-up shower today. Could be rolling in 70 for the high. Tomorrow we will have rain, some potentially heavy. 62 will be the high. Right now it's a bit overcast and 61.
Early game. With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Quiz time. Because we had a segment last week about South Carolina's projected win total according to the College Football News, but I'm curious if Preston Thorne could guess what they have the projected win total for the other teams in the SEC, just based off the loose stuff we know about these programs. Because I feel like you don't have to know a ton about where they're at. A lot of this is forward-moving momentum. Some of it is maybe splashy hires or transfer portal additions. But we'll see how well Preston does on this for today's morning meeting.
Good morning. Good morning. Repeat after me. Today will be an awesome day.
Even if you fail the quiz.
Let's go.
Even you listening, if you fail your quiz, it's still good.
Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day. Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day.
Now, I don't want to keep up with this too, so I'm getting a correct and incorrect column here.
Oh boy.
For Preston Thorne. We'll go in alphabetical order, starting with Alabama. What does College Football News have as their post-spring win total projection? Just meaning what it goes over or under. This is like a prop bet, right? I get, like, you give the number.
Halves or straights?
Halves, all halves. I think all these are halves. If any of them are straight up, I will let you know.
Okay.
So Alabama, what would you say their over-under projected win total is according to College Football News?
I'm going to give everybody out there listening a chance to answer. Say it out loud to yourself in the car. 3, 2, 1, 9.5.
You were awfully close. 8.5.
Okay. All right. I said.
Which is really interesting for Alabama. If you told Alabama fans that a projected win, like a win prop for them in year 3 post Nick Saban was 8.5, so that there is a belief that there could be even belief that they win fewer than 9 games or 9 or more. They'd been sick to their stomach.
Oh, that just tells me that the Saban cologne is wearing off.
It is. Now, is the cologne they add this year Axe body spray? We're going to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Or Tag.
Shout out.
Or Bod. Don't know if you remember Bod.
I do.
Could singe the hair of your nostrils pretty quickly.
It was in a clear bottle.
It wasn't a clear bottle.
Spray bottle, too.
It was. That thing put up Wilt Chamberlain-type numbers before 2006 in middle school locker rooms across the country. Arkansas.
6.5.
They are a lot lower on Arkansas.
Ooh.
4.5.
Okay.
For Arkansas.
We were at 6.5. Is that correct?
Yes.
All
South
right.
Carolina's at 6.5.
Okay.
I would take the under on Arkansas on that one.
The under.
Arkansas, bad. I have a feeling they are going to be, maybe worse than last year. Maybe not from a record perspective because they were 2-10, but as a football team, because last year they were bad but fun, which that's my kind of team right there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be atrocious on one part of the ball, at least be incredibly fun on the other part of the ball, and they were. I think they will be bad and not fun. No one's having fun in Fayetteville. Auburn in year 1 under Alex Golish.
They're bigger on Alex Golish. Give me 7.5.
Oh, you're so close. 6.5 for Auburn. Now to Florida in year 1 under John Sumrall.
I'm rattled now. We're 6.5. Florida bias, 7.5.
Florida's also 6.5. Oh! You were on the right track. You were on the right track. Oh, almost certain wins they have listed as Campbell in Florida Atlantic. Don't sleep.
I have to get one right. Come on.
Don't sleep on the Camels now.
Starting to get nervous.
Georgia, maybe under the radar according to Seth Emerson, but are they under the radar to college football news?
No, they are not. 9.5.
A little short, 10.5. Now.
That's not under the radar at all.
No, not at all. Not in the least bit. It's
actually, they only think we're going to win 11 games this year. How dare they?
Reminds me of my favorite Judy Garland tune, Somewhere Over the Radar. I think that's how that song goes, right? I don't know. It's been a while. Kentucky.
Y'all got your answer? You got it? You got it? Okay. 5.5.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes. He gets one.
Yes.
He gets one.
And of course, it's Kentucky that you get right. That's only a half celebration.
Oh, Will Stein in his first year projected 5.5 win total according to College Football News. LSU.
Ooh. Lane said they need some patience. They do have Lane.
Mm-hmm. I think he's going to make it two in a row.
I don't. 8.5.
It is 8.5. Preston Thorne is on fire right now. After missing the first 5, he has gotten 2 in a row. Can you keep the momentum going?
Can you win it in the first quarter? No.
Mississippi State.
All right.
Are we getting a hat trick here?
All right.
Or a turkey, as they call
Mississippi State. We're not big on Mississippi State. 5.5.
So close. 4.5.
Felt a little too confident with that one.
Now Missouri.
You know, seriously, Missouri, I haven't heard a lot about them this offseason. Straight up. I know everybody, Eli Durkowitz is a great coach. I will give him that. But I just haven't heard a lot about them. I'm going to go 7.5.
Close. 6.5.
Even less than I thought, which is interesting because coming into last year, they were on the cusp. Is this the year they make the playoffs? Is this is he going to stay? Is he, and that's not great.
His star was its highest. It's not at its highest right now because they were a little disappointing last year, even with some of the injury issues. Oklahoma.
John Mateer's back.
He is back.
What's his sound?
Yippee! Woohoo!
Mr. Yippee himself is back. Give me 9.5.
So close. 8.5.
I'm right here. I'm right in the range.
You were on the cusp
right in the range
of all of them. Maybe the trickiest one yet, though. Ole Miss in full-time year one under Pete Golding as the head coach.
I don't know if anybody else does. Give me 7.5.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Correct answer number 3 for Preston Thorne. Now, we already know South Carolina's, which is sitting, for those who missed that segment, 6.5.
6.5.
You know what? We're counting it. Counting it.
You left the answer on the board.
Yeah, I didn't erase that from the whiteboard, and that's on me. Mm-hmm. Tennessee.
Ooh. They're in our neighborhood, not far out of our neighborhood. They're not directly in our neighborhood. They live in like the adjacent one. 7.5.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Oh,
you needed a ding for that.
Absolutely. Oh, see, he talked through the process. He even showed his work. Mm-hmm. Kids, in the math test, always show your work. Mm-hmm. Texas.
Big time. 10.5.
Close. 9.5.
Really?
9.5 for Tejas.
So, all right. So what I'm hearing is they believe Georgia's had the highest so far.
Hands down favorite. We have 2 more left. Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, 9.5.
Texas A&M is 8.5. And last one, Vanderbilt.
Doesn't happen again. They're back in our neighborhood. 6.5.
5.5 for Vanderbilt. So out of the 16, Preston Thorne is 5 for 16. But he did get on a heater, and I think that's all that truly matters in this scenario.
We're going by baseball averages here.
But coming up next, how much is Greg Sankey concerned about the SEC championship game? We'll hear from him.
The Game in Charleston, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach, and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
This hour of in-show listening on 107.5 The Game is sponsored by QC Kinetics in West Columbia, the non-surgical regenerative orthopedic specialists of the Midlands. Request your consultation today by dialing pound 250 and use keyword QC Kinetics.
I know it's May, and I pressured you to get your appointment into Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning for that deal, but they're extending it because they know there are some late procrastinators out there, kind of like myself, which means you have just a short amount of time with this extension to get this great deal to assist you with your spring cleaning, because Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning is make it to where all you got to do is call their number 803-262-4020 or visit ZeroResColumbia.com and mention our station 107.5 The Game. All you got to do and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, plus a free hallway for just $109. And for a limited time, you can take $100 off that air duct cleaning. And remember, no one cleans like Zero Res. That zero water technology will not leave any soap, will not leave residue, more like residue, and harsh chemicals. It will just leave soft, fluffy carpets. 803-262-4020 or hit them up at ZeroResColumbia.com.
By Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000. Use code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000. Listing enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Average Amy's. Our coffee has caffeine and our muffins are cooked.
You're not average. Your marketing results shouldn't be either. Cumulus Digital outperforms industry benchmarks by over 25%. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Why? Because I have a job to do.
With rapid-fire takes.
So I don't want to hear from you lava pigs on this notion today. No idea what you're talking about. You're complaining more than you like to breathe air. It's like you get up in the morning only to complain and cry and moan on social media about things that you don't even understand.
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Take advantage of it. Get up in here.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
What's your beef?
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
You've been warned.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Wonderful news. Earlier accidents have been cleared, so traffic moving along fairly well, getting a little busier on the highways, though, of course. We might see an isolated shower today. 70 will be our high, and tomorrow, more rain coming in and times potentially heavy. 62 for the high, 71 with sunshine for Sunday. Just have to get through a little bit of rain. Again, some scattered chances today, rain developing again after midnight. Right now, though, sitting at 60 on the early game.
The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Best events in the college football calendar for me. It's been appointment viewing for one Elijah Campbell since I was, 7 years old, maybe. Always looking forward to the first Saturday in December to watch the SEC championship game. That stuff meant something to me, and it still does. Even in an expanded college football playoff, I'm invested on who's going to actually be playing in Atlanta for the SEC title game.
Does it just mean more?
It just means more. You're welcome, Greg Sankey. I will take check. I also have a Venmo account. If you want to use Cash App, that's fine too. We'll coordinate later. But there's been so much talk ever since we start expanding with the college football playoff, ever since we have gotten to where the goal of college sports now is to continue making more money than they previously were. There has been discussions as to whether or not conference championship games not just matter, but should you do away with them in general? And I'm just going to be up front. I would hate that. Mm-hmm. That would actually hurt me to my core a little bit to see the SEC championship game go away, because that has always meant something. Even if you don't win the national title, being an SEC champion means something. That's why Georgia's lost their first game in the college football playoff the last 2 years, but they won the SEC championship. That means something. Right? Getting to play in Atlanta on that first Saturday in December has always meant something. Preserving that is maybe more important to the SEC than it is the Big Ten or the Big 12 or the ACC, right? Because the SEC was at the forefront of this. They were the first one to do the whole SEC championship game. Shout out Roy Kramer for having the idea, putting it in practice, and it becoming a trend throughout college football to now where every conference has a conference championship game, with the exception of like the Ivy League and the FCS. but all FBS conferences have conference championship games. And I've always been curious as to how much Greg Sankey still wants to preserve that sort of thing. This is from yesterday's cut list, Jen. This will be cut number 2 because Greg Sankey talked about on the Paul Feinbaum show, Paul, whether or not there are works in place to make sure that this sort of event has been preserved. This will be cut 2 from yesterday's list. From 4:30.
Remember the days of old when everybody talked about we need to determine champions on the field? Well, what do we do through the SEC championship game? We determine champions on the field. Now, you can do it another way. You could just say, we're not going to have a championship game, winning percentage, tiebreakers like we have co-champions reign, and then you'll have to determine your CFP qualifier. So one of the counters, we determine a champion on a field. The other perspective is we can determine a champion now that we play 9 games. The second is we do have contracts, and you don't just get to walk away from agreements. That happens in college football a lot, and we see with individual decisions, but as an organization, we have a great relationship with the Atlanta Falcons, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the city of Atlanta. And so those should not be just microphone moments for people to opine. We have to do the work to figure out if we were to vary from a conference championship game, what's the work that has to be done. And then thirdly, what we did as a league way back in the early 90s, we've made a movie about it that airs on the SEC network. Everyone has followed. So the flippancy with just moving away, we need to tone that down and figure out how to manage the economics, the contracts, the competitive issues, and what that means for our own group of 16.
Now, there's one thing about that, Preston Thorne, that bothers me. Because even when I agree with Greg Sankey on trying to preserve the SEC championship game, which we both want to do, Greg and I here operate under the same premise here. We want to preserve this. I and a lot of other college football fans that are fans of SEC teams that have grown up and lived, breathed, and will die in SEC country. Instead, our reasons are this is great for the sport. This has always been part of the fabric of college football. But Greg Sankey's reasons for this is we have great corporate sponsors. We got a great relationship with the Atlanta Falcons and Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I know he has to kind of look through a lot of those things through those lenses, but you can't at least pretend that this is just great for the sport and this is what your fans want. Like, you can't just fake it for 20 seconds on the Paul Feinbaum show to say, hey, this is just something that's a fabric of what we do. We will change a lot in college sports, and it is changing by the day. But you can't just concede it's something that people like. That's why we're in this tournament mess in basketball.
This is true. Listen, man, well, yes, he could. But I think, at least from what I heard, he's still in the business of keeping the game, right?
Yes.
So y'all are still in agreement with that. No, man. Greg knows what he's here for. Greg's here to move this thing forward and make more money. And I do respect the idea that that's what Greg knows why he's here. He knows he's here to run a stable ship, and he understands what the purpose of this here. And if you fans enjoy it on the way, that's cool. But we have money to get and contracts to fulfill, as he stated, and we have a lot of obligations that are there. So I don't think he can. Now he could definitely work on the messaging.
Yes. Well, because if that was the messaging he used, no one's going to ever bring up the fact that this may be no more. Because what happens when that contract that you initially signed expires? Mm-hmm. There was no guarantee that we'll re-sign this. We have great relationships with the Atlanta Falcons and Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and we are going to fulfill the obligations of this contract. Okay, great, glad, honorable. But what about when it expires? What about then? That's when a messaging of this is a part of the fabric of our sport. Mm-hmm. This is one of the things that people love watching it. You could even have just said, look, it makes a lot of money. It generates revenue. And because people like it, that's why it generates revenue, then you're giving me some type of hope that when it does expire, that there is a possibility or a high likelihood that it does get renewed, and this thing ends up being played as long as we're playing college football. But I think the day that we lose these sort of things and we kind of just cater the entire sport towards the college football playoff, then we really start missing the point, right? Like, the labor laws of the United States aren't forcing you to change this. It forced you to change everything else within your sport, but it isn't forcing you to change this part. Whatever you can still preserve, I think, is worth fighting to actually preserve, because it's how you got to where you are this financially wealthy to begin with.
Well, the point that you made and the point that Jen brought up is that if you eliminate the championship game, now you're eliminating the whole ethos of it just means more, because you're saying, well, it really doesn't mean that much because we're trying to shoot for the CFP. I do still, as you stated, there is something to saying we were the SEC championships, and you have to SEC champions, and you have to cultivate that within the fans to make them, because chanting SEC wasn't always a thing.
Right.
It became a thing because they made us feel that way, and we started pumping our chest up because we felt like this was the conference. And so they have to be very careful not to just be like, oh, we want to be part of this bigger picture and get nervous about the Big Ten winning some things and try and capitulate to that, knowing that the SEC and SEC pride is something that we've created and the culture that we built, and it was built through one of these mechanisms that is having a champion on the field.
And sometimes you can make decisions based on that, and it's totally fine. But speaking of the college football playoff, Greg Sankey is in those meetings. Him and Tony Petitti are the two most important voices in those meetings. What did he actually reveal to Paul Feinbaum about those meetings earlier this week? We'll hear what Greg had to say coming up next here in the early game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hey, this is Preston here from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem that everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. Times are tough, but we're here to help you and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Sponsored by Prevagen. Prevagen, made for your brain. Disaster for Denver. Despite being ravaged by injuries, the Timberwolves punched their ticket to the second round with a gutsy 110-98 win over the Nuggets. Jaden McDaniels, the hero of the night, dropping 32 points and 10 boards to silence the Nuggets in 6. I'm Drake Toll.
The best mornings in the morning light start with Wrangler. I put on my jeans and I feel all right. Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I left the pizza box on top of my car before driving home. Not smart. Oh, and a semi just turned my deep dish into a thin crust.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When I wake up, the best mornings in the morning light start with Wrangler. I put on my jeans and I feel all right. Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Life matters. As I exited the subway at 161st Street, my heart was torn in two, and I didn't know which half to go with. On my right was the brand new Yankee Stadium. On my left was the demolished old one, built in 1923. The new one looked modern and pristine. The old one looked like Stalingrad after the siege. My childhood heroes played in the old park. Players young enough to be my sons played in the new one. Seeing the old park in ruins was like the death of an old friend. It was in that old park that I recited Yankee lore to my son. It was there I caught my first home run ball. After a few innings, I settled in with the idea that structures come and go, but memories are forever. That's why the scripture says to remember the goodness of the Lord. It will always be ours to treasure. This is Pastor Stephen Chitty from Christian Life on Bush River Road. Remember, friend, life matters, and so do you. Life matters. As I exited the subway at 161st Street, my heart was torn in two, and I didn't know which half to go with. On my right was the brand new Yankee Stadium. On my left was the demolished old one, built in 1923. The new one looked modern and pristine. The old one looked like Stalingrad after the siege. My childhood heroes played in the old park. Players young enough to be my sons played in the new one. Seeing the old park in ruins was like the death of an old friend. It was in that old park that I recited Yankee lore to my son. It was there I caught my first home run ball. After a few innings, I settled in with the idea that structures come and go, but memories are forever. That's why the scripture says to remember the goodness of the Lord. It will always be ours to treasure. This is Pastor Stephen Chitty from Christian Life on Bush River Road. Remember, friend, life matters, and so do you.
The Early Game. With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
It is one of my biggest pet peeves of college football is that so many times that we revolve the entire sport around its postseason format. Now, I think we've made some advancements, but unfortunately, the CFP has become the most important acronym in college football, and that's what is going to cause a lot of the changes that we see during the college football regular season. That is evolving on a year-by-year basis. We're at 12 teams right now. Who knows how long we are at 12? Who knows what this thing ultimately ends up looking like down the road? Plenty of reports saying that 24 teams is not just being suggested by some maybe athletic directors, but people in the United States federal government, right? There have been many recommendations to move this thing to 24. But what did Greg Sankey actually get to reveal on Paul's show earlier this week? We cut one from yesterday's list. This is Greg Sankey talking about those latest CFP meetings.
So I was asked on the way out, did you talk about like eliminating Tuesday ranking shows? We really did not. We talked about the schedule of those shows, but we did not talk about whether those exist or not. We had a brief conversation about format. Really understanding the timing of decisions that relate to the 2027 season. So by the end of November, I think December 1st is the actual date, we'd have to make a decision if we vary from 12, and last year decided to not vary from the 12-team format. I think those were the two kind of key issues, and the discussion around bowl games. So there are some differences. It's interesting next year, the opportunity for the 1 seed to pick its path. The location of its quarterfinal bowl and the location of its semifinal bowl, and then the 2 seed to have a quarterfinal bowl option and obviously placed in the semifinal bowl. So we talked about those logistical issues, really good TV success, really good attendance success last year, and how do we continue to build? Those are the real key topics.
So to kind of break that down, the shows will stay during the season. Now, are they going to do them on Tuesday night? We don't know. Don't know when they're going to decide to do that. They had brief format discussions, but most of them are around the decisions of the timing of when news will be released on the future of this format. So he's giving a very loose deadline there of December 1st of 2026 to find out what we're doing for 2027. I don't love operating in that space, Preston Thorne. How about we sign a contract, we work with it for a few years, and then we'll decide once that thing expires as to when we actually change this thing. Maybe the actual interesting thing I think we got, though, was that 1 and 2 seeds maybe getting to choose their path through the playoff, not with their opponent, but where they actually end up playing the games, because I do think they're going to run into a problem where teams that are highly seeded that are going to play, if you win a national championship or play in the national championship, up to 3 neutral site bowl games in December and January. And if you have them kind of sporadically throughout the country and you don't have maybe a large national fan base, it can be hard to get people to those games.
Yeah, that is probably the biggest, to me, that is the biggest information that he dropped just now. And I'm not even sure how that would work because, you get to say, do you pick, obviously you pick your home campus for one, but then do you pick the next closest place? Do you pick the place where you have a bigger alumni? This is where the Big Ten versus SEC, because Big Tens tend to have national alumni bases where SEC tends to be more concentrated. So do you stay in this area and play in a smaller spot? I think there's almost an infinite amount of questions. And more importantly, about where you play, doesn't matter who you play. That is a lot of information. And for me, as somebody who I do this for a living, and I'm sort of kind of following this, they're running the risk of being like, I don't know what's going on here.
It sounds like we're kind of in that ballpark.
Because every year is something different. I don't know what to rely on. I mean, of course, because I'm a junkie, like everybody listening right now, I will catch up. But they're throwing a lot of things at the wall right now, trying to see what sticks. And so I guess I'm going to sit back and wait till they figure it out so then I can start to process it. But that was a very interesting proposition.
I think it may be beneficial, but I know a really good solution on how to avoid that and avoid that being an issue at all. Play campus site games up until your championship.
Well, Greg told you why we can't do that. Last segment, we have contracts. We have obligations. Can't do that.
And those will eventually expire. And once they do, that needs to be a bigger part of the discussion because logistics is one of those things that I don't know exactly how sustainable that is. It very well can be. I'm in favor of more home site games. But those bowl games, they pay a lot of money. And those corporate sponsors pay a lot of money to have those played. That's going to be a large part of the discussion to make this a lot more difficult for someone like Greg Sankey. But coming up next to kick off the early game third and long hour, we'll discuss the big baseball series. Biggest of Monty's career? Well, it's one of the biggest for me, and I'll tell you why next.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Sponsored by SC Education Lottery. Did you know that since 2002, more than 2.8 million lottery-funded scholarships such as the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow scholarships have been awarded to South Carolina students? Playing for fun is a win for education. Visit sceducationlottery.com/educationwins for more information.
Let's text and tell you with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. The Carpocalypse at JT's Kia is happening now. Save thousands on brand new JT's Kia to escape the zombie horde and back from the dead cost. JT's got 0% for 72 months. We'll pay $5,000 over book value for your trade. JT says escape high gas prices with $1,000 in gas with every new vehicle. Don't miss JT's Carpocalypse sale happening now. JT's Kia, I-77 at Killian Road or Greystone Boulevard.
The future stars of the PGA Tour are coming to Columbia. The Colonial Life Charity Classic is bringing championship golf to the Wood Creek Club May 14th through 17th. Be there to experience the intensity up close as tomorrow's champions battle it out on every hole. Bring the family and take in the tournament atmosphere, excitement, and a full week of entertainment built for all ages. Don't miss your chance to witness the journey to the top. The Colonial Life Charity Classic. Get your tickets now.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, Tell them, Mid-State Twins.
If you have a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
Average Amy's. Our coffee has caffeine and our muffins are cooked.
You're not average. Your marketing results shouldn't be either. Cumulus Digital outperforms industry benchmarks by over 25%. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Boulevard at Broad River Road. An accident reported there, so be mindful of that. And we're looking for maybe just a couple isolated showers today, a high of 70. 62 tomorrow with rounds of rain, potentially heavy. Right now, 61.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell. Let's get it. And Jen Jensen. On the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Got a baseball series this weekend. The biggest of Monty Lee's career. It's been the bit on this show, Preston Thorne.
It has.
But are we still sticking to it? Are we sticking with our guns here?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna stick. It's one of these things where, you know, a baseball team's not necessarily mathematically eliminated, right? Monty Lee's not mathematically eliminated from this job yet.
I don't hear no bell.
It's still there. However, LSU, things don't go the way that you want them to go. I think you can mathematically eliminate him from driving. He might be there already, but there is a possibility that there is hope alive for, and what I'm talking about, to be clear, is about Monty Lee being considered for future considerations as the USC head baseball coach. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, and that's something, if you're looking for just things to kind of watch for in this series, that's a big part of this, right, is you have this storyline of a coach trying to prove himself because he clearly wants the job. You know, we know that he wants it. The desire to have this job is out in the open, but there's I guess we're kind of running out of opportunities here. Mm-hmm. There's only 3 SEC series left. You're going to LSU this weekend. You're hosting Alabama, and then you are going on the road to Nashville to play Vanderbilt. You're running out of time there. But I wanted to maybe add a little extra spice, some juice to this, if you will, Preston Thorne.
Spice, you say?
An excess amount of spice. Because this, I will say, this kind of started with a brainstorming session here in the building.
Yes.
As to what can we do to make this a little more exciting. And I was like, we're going to have to make myself, I need to volunteer for some type of humiliation ritual. So here's what we got. And this is what I agreed to. If South Carolina sweeps any of those 3 series, whether it be this weekend against LSU on the road, whether it be at home against Alabama, whether it be on the road at Vanderbilt, if they break out the brooms in any of those, in this hour of the show, whenever that may be, if it happens, here in Studio 803, I will eat an entire Carolina Reaper pepper in that segment. I'll give myself a segment to do it, which means I will have to haul through it. I cannot wait around, but that would be the task. That is what we'll put on the line. I got to add something to it.
My question is, do you have to eat the whole thing in order for you to feel the effect? Like, isn't a bite enough?
A bite is enough to feel the effect.
But the whole thing.
There is a likelihood, though, that I take that bite and it's fine.
Is there?
And are there seeds?
I've done it before.
Like, I don't know. Are there seeds in there that make an impact? Like I know it does in a jalapeno or something.
The seeds definitely have an impact.
Okay.
Definitely have an impact.
For those that are minor league spice eaters, avoid the seeds.
And
yes.
So are you saying that you would take a bite of this pepper, seeds and all?
Yes.
Wow. That's commitment.
Now, I do love spicy food in general, but even like the Reapers may be a little too much for me to just enjoy on food in general.
Food shouldn't hurt.
Right. That's such a philosophy to live by in general. Food should not hurt. But I'm doing it for the bit.
I love it.
We're going to do it for
That's called commitment.
That is.
Now, you're doing it for the bit. They have to go out and sweep these games. Now, you presented some numbers earlier that posed maybe some roadblocks to how this is going to get done.
Because it's so weird, Preston. This LSU team's so weird. And it's not just, on the surface it's weird, because you're looking at a team that is defending its national title, which was the second national title that it's won in the last 3 years, with a coach who has been there and done nothing but win. And it's a program that is one of the crown jewel programs of the entire sport. So you have that context, and you see that they're 5-13 in SEC play. You take that context into effect, and you look at what they've been doing the last several series, and you realize that they're on a 9-game SEC losing streak, getting swept on the road to Mississippi State for the first time since 1985, swept against Texas A&M at home, swept on the road against Ole Miss. They have not won an SEC series. They have not won a game in the SEC, Preston Thorne, since April 5th, when they won in 12 innings at Lindsey Nelson Stadium in Knoxville. They beat Tennessee. It's strange. It's really strange to see them kind of make that fall back, but then you try to figure out how, right? That was kind of my task that I tasked myself with yesterday. How does a team of that program have a season like this? I've come to the conclusion it's a very average hitting team. Not a high ceiling, because if you look at the SEC, rankings, tied for 7th in batting average, 7th in home runs, 6th in total bases, so solid, 7th in slugging percentage, 8th in on-base percentage, 9th in strikeouts. They're just, when you're comparing them to their peers in the conference, average.
They're just a team.
Yeah.
Their jersey might just say SEC on the front. SEC average.
It might as well. They are the line of demarcation for average when it comes to hitting in the SEC.
AVG, not LSU, just AVG across the front.
AVG, period, right there. Pitching, however, is straight up bad. Last in ERA for the entire pitching staff, not just starters, but relievers. The entire pitching staff is last in the SEC in ERA, and they're in a group with Kentucky, Missouri, and surprisingly Vanderbilt as the only teams in the SEC that have ERAs north of 5 as a team. They are 13th in WHIP, walks, hits per innings pitched. There are only 16 teams in the league, mind you. They are last in walks. So you're probably hearing that and you're saying, wow, Elijah, this is a really bad pitching staff. Well, here's where things get really weird. To the point that I had to make sure I'm looking at the same year because I could not believe it. They are first in the SEC in pitching strikeouts. First in the entire league. They have struck out 546 batters this year. The second highest in the SEC is Ole Miss and Mississippi State, your 2 Egg Bowl participants, at 515. Now, they do have a 1-game advantage on Mississippi State. Them and Ole Miss have played the same number of games, but that's still a, 31 strikeout discrepancy? Physically impossible for Mississippi State to get 31 strikeouts in a game. So no matter what Mississippi State does, LSU will still be the leader in strikeouts in the SEC by the time at least Saturday rolls around.
So what I'm hearing is this team will either strike you out or walk you.
Yep, or give up a bomb.
Or give up a home run. Now, here's the issue that I brought up earlier. The idea about the walks. They throw a lot of balls. We have a very high chase rate, as Monty Lee has told us about. And what is the chase rate? It means the percentage of balls that you chase outside the strike zone. Just learned about that. Really useful analytic.
Mm-hmm.
For the old people out there, such as myself, some of these things are cool. They can help you. Second part, they strike out a lot of people. I don't know if you've been following us as a baseball squad this year. We strike out a lot.
Mississippi State series should be your prime example of when you face a pitching staff that has been known to strike people out, you have followed suit.
Remember, we struck out 18 times one game.
There are only 27 outs in a game.
Not looking for a repeat of that. That being said, it doesn't feel like a great matchup if you're just looking at the statistics.
Mm-hmm. I think a roadblock is the perfect way of saying that. That is I would say quite a big roadblock, is they do something really well. It's the only thing as a pitching staff they do really well, but it's something you have struggled with throughout the season. I fully acknowledge that in every series you play, in every game you play, not striking out and putting a bat on the ball at the bare minimum is important. This is not breaking news. It's common sense baseball stuff. But if there was ever a series in which it is more important to do that than ever, it's probably this one, right? Not because maybe they're bad, in the field, because when you look at the field, like they are in terms of their SEC peers towards the bottom. So there is that. Like that alone is something that you could look at and say, oh, well, that's exploitable. But to at least avoid them doing what they do best, like LSU is going to win. If they're going to win games in the SEC, they're going to do it because they have a day where they strike out a lot of people and not a lot of balls leave the yard. Can you get it to where you're just putting the ball in play, making that defense have to make plays, and not allowing them to have 16 or 17 strikeouts in a game? Mildly important. We've touched on that in so many series previews throughout the season, but I think it's maybe more paramount in this game than it has been in the series than it has been in any other series or midweek game that we could possibly summon.
So this is, at this point in the season, we're in Denny Green territory.
Yep.
Right? We're in Denny Green territory, and what we think we know about our Gamecock, about the baseball team, is that they strike out a lot and they're not very disciplined. That theory is going to be, they're not disciplined at the plate. That theory is going to be put to the test against this LSU pitching staff.
Mm-hmm. Because
so it's going to be, are they who we thought they were?
Yeah. Are the priors confirmed? Right. I've never seen a team, Preston Thorne, that is last in any league in walks, but first in strikeouts.
The only way I can extrapolate that is, they got good stuff. They can throw the ball hard. They throw the ball with a lot of movement. They just may not know where it's going from a lot of the times.
Right. They can't control it because they're also, when you look in terms of the standings of hit by pitch, they are third in the conference in hitting batters.
Now that's the wild card that you're throwing, because not only do you throw great stuff, but also I may get hit with the ball. That changes my approach as a batter.
The one thing I don't love hearing if I'm having to walk up to the plate, high velocity, no idea where this thing's going. This thing could be drawn to you like it's got some type of magnetic energy, and I don't like that. I would not like that as a player.
Elijah, there's one last thing that we didn't talk about, and I need to know if you know this. I might be in a little bit of a bind here because LSU has a player playing first base. His name is Zach York.
Uh-huh.
They call him the Creole Bambino.
Oh, wow. Okay, that goes hard. He's got to have at least 15 home runs this year.
No, he doesn't. Only because of his stature. 6'2", 295.
Does the big and scale change for baseball?
For baseball. For baseball. All you got to do is look at the way he's wearing that uniform. He's not 6'2". He's not 295. Neither.
Roster measurements.
But more importantly, I went down a little bit of a Reddit rabbit hole. Guess what one of his nicknames is?
Oh, my God.
You might have done this one. You might have wrote this. Belly de la Cruz.
My man's built like Daniel Vogelbach and just so happens to be playing for LSU, and he's going to get all of the jokes thrown his way. Belly de la Cruz is fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit of a bond because I will be tuning in to watch Zach York play baseball this weekend.
Zach York is built how people talk about Zion Williamson when he went to New Orleans.
So if you don't have any other reasons to watch, stick around for Belly de la Cruz.
I will say, as somebody, when I went to the Carolina LSU football game last year and I was in Baton Rouge for about 5 days, I did come back about 10 pounds heavier. If I was living there full time, I too would be Belly de la Cruz.
It's tough.
Oh, man. Oh, winner off the bat right there. Oh, that's good. Maybe being Belly de la Cruz is better if you were in the trenches in football, right? Like, he is more suited if you are a defensive lineman.
What do you think Dane Brugler would say about Belly de la Cruz?
Pear-shaped with short arms.
Sloppy midsection.
Sloppy, yeah. A little sloppiness in the midsection. Oh, man. That's one thing a defensive lineman can be accused of. But if you look at the South Carolina football team, the defensive line can be accused of being the deepest part of the team. What did Shane Beamer have to say about that assumption? We'll hear what Shane had to say coming up next year in the early game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Plus text tags and title with approved credit. Call 866-243-4623 for details. JT's Carpocalypse sale is happening now at JT's Jeep Ram. Save thousands on brand new Jeeps and Rams to escape the zombie horde at back from the dead costs. We've got 0% for 72 months. We'll pay $5,000 over book value for your trade. Escape high gas prices with $1,000 in gas with every new vehicle. End of the world savings and everything must go at JT's Jeep Ram, 378 Lexington or Greystone Boulevard. Declaration of deal sales event.
Hi there. This is Steve Ard with Local Waste Service. The Ards have been in the waste business for over 60 years, and I want to introduce my new waste company, Local Waste Service. We are a locally owned company that provides front-end, roll-off service for all your waste needs. We also do recycling and compactors. So look us up at localwastesc.com. That's localwastesc.com.
Where your trash is our business.
Hungry for more than just a meal? Head to the Golden Spur, the official restaurant of the University of South Carolina. From juicy burgers and crave-worthy flatbreads to fresh salads, pastas, and seafood, there's something for everyone. Unwind with creative cocktails and Columbia's favorite new Sunday brunch buffet. Whether you're repping garnet and black or just exploring downtown, the Golden Spur is your go-to spot. The Golden Spur at 700 Lincoln Street. Reserve now at goldenspurgrill.com.
If you're tired of dealing with gas, noise, and costly maintenance, it's probably time to switch to Steel battery power. Right now at Cato's Power Equipment, we have 65 Steel battery tools like the GTA 40 hand pruner, the BGA 60 blower, and the KMA 135 Combi power head. Each available with 2 free batteries for a limited time, giving you more runtime, less hassle, and up to $640 in instant savings. This deal is only available at Cato's Power Equipment, Columbia's home for the tools you need to maintain your turf. Visit catospowerequipment.com.
Baseball.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong?
I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000. Use code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000.
The Colonial Life Charity Classic is coming to the Wood Creek Club right here in Columbia, May 14th through the 17th. This is your chance to watch the next generation of PGA Tour stars up close. Before Justin Thomas and Scotty Scheffler were household names, they were right here on the Korn Ferry Tour. This is where the journey begins. Every shot bringing them closer to the PGA Tour. Tomorrow's champions are teeing it up today. Get your tickets now for the Colonial Life Charity Classic.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to give your home a refresh. At Dan's Fan City in Harbison, we're celebrating spring cleaning with amazing deals on floor samples, closeouts, and overstocks. Whether you're looking to upgrade your ceiling fans or add a new one to your space, Dan's Fan City has you covered. Stop by our store or give us a call at 781-FANS to take advantage of these fantastic offers. Don't miss out on the chance to save big and elevate your home's comfort and style with Dan's Fan City on Harbison Boulevard.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Harbison Boulevard at Broad River Road is still working that earlier tie-up. Also slow going from about mile marker 101 on I-26 eastbound to I-20. And the forecast, some rain is still possible. Isolated rain shower possible today. Some rain developing after midnight tonight. Then that leads us into tomorrow, where there are going to be rounds of rain throughout the day. Some potentially heavy. So our high today, 70. 62 tomorrow. And then sunshine on Sunday with a high of 71. Right now it is 60.
With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Get to the depth of this defensive line and whether or not this actually is the strength of this football team going into 2026, we'll go out to the AAA Heating and Air phone lines where Lawrence is on the line with us. Good morning, Lawrence. Happy Friday. Welcome to the early game.
Thank you. I apologize. This is off subject, I guess. I haven't been listening to y'all, but I've been wanting to call in and ask a question or get your insight on, can you compare Brownell's 4 to 5, 6 first years at Clemson and his success afterwards to Carolina's basketball coach, and the comparison, because everybody wants him fired, but he's also got, I think, something similar to Brownell.
Yeah, there's some parallels, and I appreciate the call, Lawrence. I don't know if it's still 100% like for like. I think we still are kind of comparing apples and oranges, but I think it's a fair thing to ask, and it's a fair thing to look at, because in Brad Brownell's first season at Clemson, 2011, made the NCAA tournament as a 12 seed, so they squeaked in, but as a 20-plus win season, you're over 500 in the ACC. And then in the following years, you don't make it back to the NCAA tournament until 2018. So it's about a 7-year drought of not making it to the NCAA tournament. So what did the floor look like? I think we've now seen what the floor looks like for Lamont Paris, which is a 2-16 season in the SEC, a couple of losing records back-to-back. And then if you look at year one, which I think a lot of Carolina fans accepted would be kind of a year zero type deal, right? Where things did bottom out, but you still ended up winning 4 SEC games. 2012, you were 16-15, so over 500, but you were at 500 in league play. First losing season was 13-18 at 5-13 in league play. I think that's probably the first thing you could look at that would be similar. So that was in 2013. But then Brownell responded with a 23-win season that left them just outside the NCAA tournament. A barely above 500 season after that. Well, 3 more, barely above 500 seasons. So you go 16-15, 17-14, 17-16 from 2015 to 17. And then in 18, you get back to the NCAA tournament. Not only do you get back to the NCAA tournament, you find yourself in the Sweet 16, and you were a 5 seed. And that was a year in which you won 11 games in your conference, north of 20 wins. And then you're kind of back to where you were before that, and now you've gotten into, 4 straight 20-win seasons, 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances, and an Elite Eight appearance in there. And realistically, you had a chance to win the regular season, not this past season, but in 24-25, you were 18-2 in your conference, and you realistically had a chance of winning that thing. If I'm trying to make a parallel here, it's that the floor maybe isn't as low with Brownell, but it got close, right? A 13-win season where you're 5-13 in your league is close, but you weren't in the floor long. And I think the concern with Lamont is that you've had back-to-back years in which you have experienced what the floor is, and I will say with confidence, without even really looking at the rosters from 2013, you didn't have a Colin Murray Boyles on that basketball team. I think that's maybe where it's a little bit different. I don't think Brad never had to coach in a league in which all but 2 teams made the NCAA tournament, so that's one thing to kind of just contextualize everything. But I do think there are some parallels. There was a year in which the floor was similar. The big thing is, though, you don't live in that floor for long. You lived an average for about 3 or 4 straight years, but you didn't live in that kind of obscurity of your league for as long, at least not for back-to-back seasons.
What I picked up from Lawrence, I feel like he was advocating, trying to make a parallel between Brad Brownell and Lamont Paris, advocating maybe for patience, saying, hey, if we wait it out, there may be something. And I think there is an argument for that. However, here's my thing, and you just laid out a very good case. I'm going to lay out a much more casual case. Do we know what was happening at Clemson from 2010 to 2020?
Football team was doing pretty good.
They was winning championships, a lot of games, every year, 10 plus, 10 plus, 10 plus, all the time. And you know what that allowed Brad Brownell to do? Hide.
That helps.
Look at all the great things that are happening. Oh, we didn't win too many games. Nobody cared.
Oh, it's 2017. We went 17-16 in basketball. Don't care.
Doesn't matter. We're in the championship again in football.
Just won the football championship in January. I don't care if we're not that good men's basketball in March.
Shane and Mark Kingston / Paw, they haven't provided that cover for Lamont. And so we're all hyper-focused on this idea of, like, you are not doing well. You are not doing well. They are not doing well. So everybody's senses are a little bit more raised up than at Clemson, because guess what? If I was just coming off a national championship and then I went and watched the average basketball team, oh, it's all right.
Yeah.
Give them some time. It's cool.
I'm still riding the high from what we just did a couple months ago.
It's all good. And I think that's a very big distinction between how the fan base has treated them.
Yeah, and how much patience might actually be allowed to you, right? When everybody's struggling, the pressure for somebody to be the shining star ultimately gets applied a little bit harder. Well, for Lamont, hopefully Shane kind of makes it to where that is not the same issue this season. And part of that, I think, can come from the defensive line. I'm even going to throw the edge rushers and group them with the defensive line, right? I'm just going to say the defensive front is the strength of this team because of its depth, right? I went through the roster, and I pointed out guys that may be backups, right? Troy Pikes, or at least get backup snaps. Troy Pikes, Kelby and Drew Collins, Tomi Durajai, Caleb Herring, Julian Walker, Jordan Thomas. I think that's a lot of quality backups if those guys are the ones that end up taking, second string reps or whatever it is, right? We can discern the differences between, being a starter and being someone who's still getting a 40% share of the snaps, not that much of a difference. But the fact that you can squeeze a lot of those guys into those roles is a positive. Here's what Shane had to say, though, in that regard when it comes to the depth on the defensive line.
I would say very comfortable, the defensive tackle position. I think I've talked about that with you guys some in press conferences, just with, who we brought back. Gabe off last year's team, Troy Pikes, who wasn't even here last year during spring practice. He's a year older. And then Noah Clark coming in as a true freshman, all the transfer guys that we brought in. I really like our depth that we have there, probably more depth at the defensive tackle position than, 24 would have been the best year when you had those guys, Tonka, Boogie, TJ, DeAndre Jules, Nick Barrett, Monkel Goodwine. But I think this group has a chance to, be even deeper in regards to the number of guys you feel comfortable putting in an SEC football game. Concern, probably the secondary position in some ways, corner and safety. Gerald Kilgore was a nickel or was a safety for us and still could be, but he's working as a nickel right now, which affects the safety depth a little bit. And I like our guys there, Peyton Williams, David Busey, Currents had a really good spring, Kendall Daniels, but you've got some unproven guys there behind or after David Busey and Peyton Williams. And then maybe the corner position a little bit too. Obviously Judge Collier and Bakari Swain have played a lot of football. DeMarcus Leach came out of the spring is really our third corner. But after that, there's a lot of, Cassie Barnes and some unknowns there. So you wish you had a little bit more depth. Maybe nickel, I feel good, but corner safety will be okay. But it's just it's a little concerning right now just because you got some unproven guys there.
So with that said, Preston Thorne, would you say the defensive line is the strength of this defense and the biggest question mark would be what you have behind your starters in the secondary?
Well, that's a good problem to have because if you have a strong defensive line, it's not what you would wish for, but you're assuming that strong defensive line can get pressure on the quarterback, move him off his mark, make him make errant throws, sacks that can help out the secondary who may be coming along or maybe not necessarily where you want them. So when I hear Shane say that that's concerning, that really doesn't bother me because that's why you have time to develop. I'm okay with that. And it does send a positive signal that those guys up front have more bodies that he feels comfortable putting in the SEC. So to me, that was a pretty positive report to my ears.
Didn't hear any complaints there from Shane, but there have been complaints from NFL coaches about how the changes in college football have affected the draft. But coming up next for the early game third and long hour goes deep, we'll play devil's advocate and we'll tell you how next.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game.
Sponsored by Lowe's. Spring into deals at Lowe's. Shop Stay Green Premium 2 cubic feet mulch, 5 bags for $10. Plus, get up to 35% off select major appliances. Valid through 5/6. Mulch offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Hallmark Cards presents Mother's Day at Walgreens. Celebrate every mother figure in your life with a Hallmark card at Walgreens. Show how much she means to you and how deeply she's loved. A Hallmark card is the perfect way to say thank you for all she does. Don't forget, Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. Visit Walgreens today to find the perfect Hallmark Mother's Day card and make her feel truly special. Mother's Day means Hallmark cards at Walgreens.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The cost of grad school keeps climbing, and for many, scholarships and stipends don't cover everything. That's where we come in. South Carolina Student Loan has been helping grad students bridge the gap between tuition and reality for years. Whether it's covering classes, books, housing, or other educational expenses, we're here to help. And since we're a not-for-profit, we offer competitive rates to make funding grad school easier. Get the support you need for grad school today at scstudentloan.org.
Plus tax tags and title with approved credit. Call 866-243-4623 for details. JT's Carpocalypse sale is happening now at JT's Jeep Ram. Save thousands on brand new Jeeps and Rams to escape the zombie horde at back from the dead costs. We've got 0% for 72 months. We'll pay $5,000 over book value for your trade. Escape high gas prices with $1,000 in gas with every new vehicle. End of the world savings and everything must go at JT's Jeep Ram, 378 Lexington or Greystone Boulevard. Declaration of Deal sales event.
The future stars of the PGA Tour are coming to Columbia. The Colonial Life Charity Classic is bringing championship golf to the Wood Creek Club May 14th through 17th. Be there to experience the intensity up close as tomorrow's champions battle it out on every hole. Bring the family and take in the tournament atmosphere, excitement, and a full week of entertainment built for all ages. Don't miss your chance to witness the journey to the top. The Colonial Life Charity Classic. Get your tickets now.
Start your spring cleaning with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $109 plus a free hallway. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just a deeper clean that lasts. Plus, now you can also take $100 off air duct cleaning and breathe cleaner air. Visit ZeroResColumbia.com.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
I-26 westbound there at Augusta Highway. That's exit 111 on I-26 westbound. There's an accident reported there. Also, Harbison Boulevard at Broad River Road. Be careful. They're cleaning up another accident. 70 will be the high today. Could see some isolated showers. Not a washout like probably tomorrow is going to be. Rounds of rain tomorrow, 62 for the high. Some of the rain could be potentially heavy, but then that will clear out and we'll be left with lots of sunshine and 71 for your Sunday. It's cloudy right now and 60.
Early Game. With former Gamecocks Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Time for the early game, third and long hour to go deep. And this week, we've been talking about how the changes in college sports, like NIL, the player movement caused by the transfer portal, have changed the way the NFL draft operates and how the teams operate when it comes to selecting their future franchise players. We've gone through about everything that you can go through, but for today, to wrap things up for a part 5, I figured we'd play devil's advocate, Preston Thorne.
Okay.
You want to know why? Because a lot of this centers around how this has negatively affected things.
Of course.
It's coaches complaining about it, not saying, oh, our lives are made much easier. Oh, these guys are much more prepared. Not everything is black and white. There's a gray area to anything, and I feel pretty confident saying that about most things on planet Earth. But when it comes to how the changes in collegiate athletics have impacted maybe readiness or evaluation periods of college players making the jump to play professionally, where has it actually benefited these pro leagues?
I'll start with
I'll start with the first thing that came to my mind. And you said readiness. And I think when you hear readiness, people think on the field. But I'm thinking off the field. The biggest transition that people were always worried about as far as the NFL was concerned is, what are these players going to do when they get money? Are they going to lose their minds now that they're whatever status that you want to refer to them as, now that they're millionaires, or now that they have money, or now that they're in? I think that's less of a concern now because a lot of these players have already dealt with or already dealing with the world that comes around them with money. And so one of the unknowns that you just like, man, I don't know what's going to happen, or there's maybe some indicators that this kid might lose his mind once he actually has money instead of being a broke kid in college. I don't think those things are already shown themselves. Now, if you want to take that risk, it's on you. But I feel like that is something that NFL teams have to worry about less than they might have had to in the past.
A perfect example that's come to my mind. This was another Titans draft story of when I was, in the market. It's the 2020 NFL draft, so you don't get to do the in-person stuff like you used to. Everybody's kind of doing a lot of things virtually. And the Titans are still in a championship window, right? They were just fresh off a year in which they lost to the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game. So it's a very important draft to get somebody who is going to be at a little bit more of a discount to come in and be a day one contributor. They take Isaiah Wilson, an offensive lineman from Georgia. And from the sound of it, it sounds good, right? You got a Georgia offensive lineman. This is somebody that should be able to come in and play right away. He plays one snap on special teams his entire career. Shows up to camp overweight. Incredibly out of shape. Immediately blows through that contract that he gets and ends up turning his football career into an attempt at a rap career.
Okay, all right. Now we're talking.
Within a year and a half, Preston Thorne, he was out of the league within a year and a half. It will maybe go down as one of the worst first-round picks in the history of the NFL, given the context in which it was taken. And it wasn't like you had to do a ton of digging to think, oh, well, maybe there are some issues here, because Teron Davenport, friend of the show, I used to be his producer, and I got Sam Pittman on the show. At this time, he is coaching Arkansas, but he was Isaiah's offensive line coach at Georgia. And when Teron asked him about Isaiah Wilson, the first thing wasn't incredible talent. It wasn't insane work ethic. It was, well, we did struggle a little bit at the beginning because I don't think he was prepared for how hot it was going to be, and it took a while for us to get him in shape. And then he goes on to compliment him about certain football-related things. But I remember sitting there thinking, that's the first thing you say. The first thing you remember about him was how out of shape he showed up in college and how much work you had to do to get him to work hard to be able to develop. That was a little bit of a red flag. All you had to do was talk to an old position coach, and you got something like that maybe throw up a flag to me that said, don't take him in the first round.
Let's stay in the same universe. Offensive linemen, first-round picks. When they asked Nick Saban about Caden Proctor, his first thing he said was, he's not a self-starter. He's going to have to work on coming into camp. But once we got him, it was a lot of mealy-mouthing. Not what I want to hear about my number 12 pick. And here's the thing. What you would have hoped in the past is that, well, he was in college. He was broke. He didn't have the right food that he was eating. Once he gets to the NFL and this money gets on the line, he's going to turn it around. Well, he's already had money.
Yeah.
Money has not been a part of his issue. So he has been showing up to college with money out of shape. I'm not going to say it's not. Chances are it's not just going to turn around now that he's in the NFL, because what's really changed for him? He had money before. Money's not going to be the motivating factor. Maybe the idea of being a pro is going to change his mind, but I'm very hesitant to think that. And if I was the NFL, I would be able to say, I don't know if the next level is going to be the thing that motivates this man.
I would be hesitant to bank on that. That's the thing. When you are drafting in the first round, you're banking on somebody being able to fix whatever deficiencies they have, and then you're drafting for the upside that leads you to believe they can be a star at this next level. And when it comes to what Caden Proctor got in college, We know what the story of the tampering that went on with Iowa. He originally goes in the transfer portal, commits to Iowa before changing his mind and coming back. I don't think he came back for a box of Cheez-Its, right? I think he got a lot of money to be able to make that decision to come back. I think Alabama made it worth his while. So he's had the resources to be able to, and along with the resources you just get in college, to have, a dietitian, maybe somebody who's making food for you. You have resources that can allow you to do that, to where you shouldn't be going back into camp overweight or out of shape. So you have a sample size of him maybe not doing that well before, which could be a red flag. Whereas beforehand, everybody, like you mentioned, everybody's broke, and we're all kind of operating on the same premise for the most part. Some people were getting under the table deals.
Yeah, he might have been getting a McDonald's bag here or there.
Right. But it's different now, and we now know exactly how much money is being spent in a lot of cases. For me, one of the biggest positive changes is identifying late bloomers, right? If somebody stayed at a school the entire time, got better, but never got to experience a role in which they were relied upon as a full-time starter. Let's take a program like Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, where you are you're in the class as a 3-star, and you're in there with a bunch of 5 stars, and you're constantly biding your time. You might get 1 year in which you get reasonable starting reps, right? But if you start there and you say, I need to go to a place where I can play. I tried to compete for a job. It's not happening. I need to go somewhere where I can play. And you go to a place that's maybe a step down, right? Or somebody that's still in the power conference, say like Wake Forest takes a flyer on you. Just a random school I pulled out of thin air. And you go to Wake Forest, you're getting starter reps, and say you're a linebacker, and you have a couple of really big years. And then before your last year, LSU calls and says, we really want you. Then you do that at LSU. Then you can look at that person's trajectory, say, yeah, you played at 3 schools, but you went to where you were going to play. You got a full-time role. You succeeded in that full-time role. And then you went somewhere where it's hard to compete to be able to get on the field, but then you proved it somewhere else too. I feel like you get a really good sample size, that player, when it comes to just the evaluation part.
This is a little bit of a different scenario, but it's right home, and I think it's the same thing we said about Torricelli Simpkins, right? He was doing this thing at the HBCU level, playing well all that time. But it's a lot easier for me as a scout or as an assistant GM to go to the GM and say, hey, this kid from the University of South Carolina is really good, as opposed to saying this kid from North Carolina Central is really good. It's just gonna make the case a little bit easier to make, even though the tape could be exactly the same. Just having that stamp, that big school stamp, might help some of these players in these situations.
We'll give you our winners for today's show, brought to you by the Golden Spur, coming up next.
5 The Game in Columbia, 96.9 The Game in Charleston, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach, and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Hey, this is Jen from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, a bakery, a coffee shop, burger joint, or a pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? We got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There's no catch. Times are tough, and we're here just trying to help you get folks in the door of your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Sponsored by Wrangler. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles to kickstart your day. Oh, no. Knicks fans are happy? Yeah, a historic 140-89 demolition of the Atlanta Hawks. New York didn't just win, they set an NBA record with a 47-point halftime lead. Ooh, I'm Drake Toll.
Yo, it's Jay Uso from WWE, and I'm Jimmy Uso. Chumba Casino and WWE are hyped for the biggest event of the summer, SummerSlam. I know, I can't wait. There's nothing better to do while we're waiting than playing Chumba Casino. Sign up today, and you could win a VIP experience with Chumba Casino and WWE for SummerSlam. So what are you waiting for? Play Chumba Casino and enter for your chance to win. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's a tale of Tina searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Tell GoodRx wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags in a red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
I'll put it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $700, plus get a free adjustable base with select Sealy Posturepedic mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Sometimes you can tell a lot about what someone wants to do offline by looking at what they do online. Let me tell you about Pinterest's first parenting trend report. Pinterest is a huge platform. They have 600 million monthly users, 80 billion searches per month. The report found a shift from the iPad kid era to now, when parents are actually more interested in real-world adventures and hands-on activities. The global trends and insights lead at Pinterest told us families are thoughtfully designing childhoods rooted in creativity, intention, and meaningful experiences. One psychologist we spoke to said he sees this as a reflection of parents' desire to build core capacities in their children: resilience, curiosity, self-regulation, empathy. These things don't grow automatically, but are built through lived experience. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
The Early Game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
It is more about them than it is about the team. Cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it. I want winners. Winners.
And every day, Coach Singletary, we will offer you our winners of the day show, brought to you by the Golden Spur. And the first winner of the day, though, Preston Thorne, is the thing that made me laugh the hardest during this show, and that is that LSU has a first baseman who is so chunky. He has been nicknamed Belly De La Cruz.
Zach York, 6'2", 295.
You were an early game favorite. At one point this summer, I want to conduct an all early game team.
Okay.
Just players that are just favorites of the show for any reason. Zach, you're not non-Gamecock related.
Yes.
Right? That just, it fits the players that just fit the vibe of this, that would get this show.
He definitely gets known as the Creole Bambino, as they were calling him. But I like Belly De La Cruz better. There were several, but I felt like that was one for you. And again, I'm at a crossroads because obviously I'm cheering for the Gamecocks, but look at my guy over there.
That's it. That's my guy right there.
That's my guy. Big Tent sequels winner, Risky Proposition. But this weekend, The Devil Wears Prada Part 2 is out. Oh. And you may not have known it, but Preston loves that movie.
I can kind of see that.
You get it?
Yeah, I get it.
I really enjoy that movie, and I would like to say LeBron still doing it. Anne Hathaway still doing it.
Still got it. Still got it. I'm in full agreement. The first movie was made, 2006?
Long time ago, yes.
And guess what? I don't think there's going to be a lot of physical differences.
Still got it.
Has aged well. So Anne Hathaway.
Risky Proposition, man.
Years.
Obviously Top Gun came back with the second one. It was a monster. It was awesome. Coming to America came back the second one. It was terrible. So it's a risky proposition. I'm very interested to see how this goes this weekend.
The sequel that's made at least 2 decades after the original is always risky because you're going into it knowing this is an obvious cash grab.
Of course.
Somebody's hurting for funds.
Of course.
And they're going to make it everybody else's problem.
Of course.
Are you going to make it everybody else's problem? Or are you going to make it everybody else's solution? It's very hard for the latter to surpass the former in that scenario.
I'm interested to see where this one goes.
Very curious with that. In terms of sequels that are well done 20 plus years after an original was made, I'm going to have a hard time conducting a list of the ones that were bangers.
Not a great hit rate.
Very low hit rate. Chase rate at its highest.
We chasing the bag.
Yeah, that chase rate's 100%, buddy.
Chasing that nostalgia.
And they're trying to cash in on nostalgia. Hopefully, the chase rate for South Carolina is not that bad this weekend because winner for today's show, big series. And the bit of biggest series of your life, it's big for Monty Lee, but also if Monty Lee wants to enjoy watching me suffer, you sweep LSU, buddy, I'm going to eat a Carolina Reaper during this specific hour of the show, whenever that may be. Bring it.
I think we need a picture in their dugout.
Yeah.
Of you having a scary look in your eye, looking at that pepper.
Of me being fearful. Every
baseball team needs something at this point of the year. This might be it.
This could be it.
This might be the thing for them.
This could be your postseason. How about that? This could be the postseason, at least as a show. This is our postseason baseball. Starts right now.
My radar was slightly off. I was joking all week that they said Paul Maneri should be throwing out the first pitch of this weekend. He is not. I did read they are celebrating the 96 World Series. So they are celebrating a World Series.
Oh, buddy.
Just not the one I thought it was, but I was close.
Oh,
I was
buddy.
close.
That would have been too rich, though. That would have been maybe a little too on the nose.
It would have been good.
That would have been the most early game thing to ever happen, is that we were able to summon Paul Maneri throwing the first pitch.
We got a Game 7.
We do.
Who's going to be the winners?
Jen, can we play the Zaza Pachulia clip? Real quick, because we're going to let Zaza Pachulia let you know what's happening this weekend.
Cameron, a lot of people say shock the world. I call it destiny. Zaza, talk about pulling it all in at the end there.
Nothing easy. Nothing easy. We're going to Game 7, baby. Game 7. Game 7. Hey, I wish you guys were there, but everybody knows that we got your support. We're going to feel it on Game 7. We love you. Woo!
Game 7!
I can only hope for so many more Game 7s throughout this playoffs.
Oh, if we're getting a Game 7, we're getting Zaza Pachulia.
Of course.
Nothing easy. Nothing easy. That one's even more appropriate because the Celtics and Sixers are going to Game 7, and that clip was from a Hawks-Celtics series in which the Hawks won in Atlanta to push it to 7, where they were going to play in Boston. Did the Sixers summon up the powers of Zaza Pachulia, meaning
so.
They might hurt somebody's ankle,
I hope
the best
so.
player, and get them out of the game?
Get them out of here.
Get the Celtics out of here.
Yeah,
great.
In
I'd be
agreement.
thrilled. I would be thrilled. Tyler Head, Jack Veltri, they're winners. They're next. We'll talk to you again Monday morning, 6 a.m.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or